stand, boys. Time to make a choice. Time to find our courage. Time to be deployed. Make our only stand here. Make our roads complete. All we waited for now, past the future meet. Get your weapons ready. Kiss loved ones goodbye. Now our time is coming, and it is not the time to cry. Fight the war. Fight the war. Fight the war. Oh, who cares why we're fighting? It's about the might. Let the righters righting settle wrong from right. In the time of conflict, when the bullets fly, in the space of seconds, a life you cannot buy. Face the facts before you, face the simple truth. We're hopelessly outnumbered, it's tragic but it's true. Make your last formation, take the final road. Now it's time for endings, now it's time to go. Fight the war. Oh, fight the war. Fight the war. I'm fighting the war with my band, which is going to be playing on a Friday night, this Friday at the Delancey at 5:30 p.m. Don't miss it. Yeah. What's going on, everyone? Hello, Arvanauts. Welcome to a Tuesday stream. It is June 5th, 2018. It is 12:36, about 12:37, I guess. And I am looking forward to today's stream as we get back into the power of Lone Wolf, the Chasm of Doom, with live illustrations. I'm going to talk about the person doing that live illustrations in just a minute. Before I do that, though, I do want to remind everybody about ways to support the stream. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to follow the channel. Please check out the YouTube with !ArvTube. Please make sure to check out the Twitter with !ArvTweets. Of course, the Discord with !ArvCord. The shop, which is the merchandise shop where you can get stuff from Infinity and Beyond, which is going to be returning with the Curse of Strahd. That is going to be Arv, what was I saying? Arv Cord, Strahd. Oh, yes, Arv Shop, Arv Shop. And then we have the Patreon and the subs. Now, I do want to point something out. For those of you who know something and have followed me for a while, you might be looking at the Patreon and going like, oh my God, what has happened? One of our biggest contributors had to step back for a month. This person is not stepping back forever. This person just had to step back for a month because of other financial stuff which came up, which I completely understand. So we should not panic about a lower number or anything like that for a few weeks. That is totally fine. In fact, the person went out of their way to ask me, would it be okay if they step back? Like, was anything going to be screwed up? And of course, I'm not very likely to say that anything is going to be screwed up or like, I'm like, look, man, I mean, this person was very, very supportive and generous. So they will be back, and so the Patreon will be fine. That said, though, what's up, Stump? That said, though, if you have not already done so and would like to do so, you can get cool stuff within the Patreon. And Genly just mentioned one of them. I actually will write you a character background at a certain level of Patreon support. You can inspire players in my various campaigns, and you can do that. Of course, that is a big help to the channel. And you can also get copies of my band's albums. You can get a whole bunch of stuff. So plus you can also get stuff for the channel as well, like, for example, Arvanaut Idol 3, which I'm going to be mentioning and talking about in just a couple of minutes. So you can do that as well. So if you are able to support the Patreon, !ArvTreon will show you how to get over to the link for that, and that would, of course, be much, much appreciated. That said, nobody panic. This is not like, oh my God, anything like that. This is not any reason to panic. But that is the current situation with the Patreons. That's what that is about. And the other thing, of course, are the subs. Right now, we're sitting at right around 35 subs. So if you hit that sub button above the sub window, you actually can support the channel that way, and you can get those awesome gold Arvany hyped emotes as well. I also want to remind everybody you can also gift subs to people, and there is now mobile subbing. Now, the mobile subbing has one big problem with it, which is that it's more expensive than subbing on the regular channel. And apparently that's because of stuff relating to Google Play and what they charge in terms of fees. And I understand that to a degree, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yeah, but I still don't think it's fair to be charging someone $5.99 instead of $4.99 because they subbed on mobile. But, I know that a lot of people wanted to be able to sub on mobile. So if you are on mobile and you want to be able to do that, thank you for kicking in the extra buck. And thank you for being a part of the subscribers here. So as I say, that is a big help, and that can help you as well. Now, we've got Lone Wolf today, but before we get there, I do want to make one announcement. The other announcement I'll make later on. One is a tease, let's say. So let me get rid of, this is not the right spot. There we go. I'm already there. I was just figuring out my Stream Deck. How do I do this? Okay, let me get rid of this. Let's get rid of, where the heck is my Lone Wolf page? There we go. Let me get rid of that. And let me turn on this. There we go. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. Hope everyone is doing well. So now, here is the status that I wanted to explain for people. Two announcements. First of all, one that is non-channel related. This Friday at 5:30 p.m. at the Delancey, which is in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in New York City, where I live, my band and I will be playing an acoustic set, and we'll be playing, I think, basically 7 to 8 songs. Roughly half of them will be off of our new album, and we are doing final mixing on the last song on Friday, and are into mastering at that point, and we will be doing some of the mastering as well. So that album now is coming very close. Then we just have to do the graphic design and so forth. So my guess is that by the end of the summer, that will actually be released at long last. I feel like this album has taken forever. But we will finally be releasing it, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited about it. So if you want to get a sneak peek on it, I would love to see any or all of you there if you are in the New York area. Now, I know a number of you are not, but if any of you are in the New York area or are going to be near the New York area, would love to see any or all of you at that. So again, that is 5:30 p.m. Eastern at the Delancey, which is, again, on Delancey Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and that'll be 5:30 p.m. Could really use people there, so would love to see any or all of you there. Just if I don't know you like IRL, please just make sure to come up and be like, hey, I'm so-and-so on Twitch, so I actually know who the heck that is. So that would be good stuff. Now, the second announcement that I want to make, which is important here, is about Arvanaut Idol 3. Arvanaut Idol 3. Now, if we take a look at the calendar right here, if we take a look at the calendar and pop this up right here, and I apologize to the person who is waiting patiently, but I needed to make sure that I made this announcement. If we look at the calendar here, you will notice that we've got the calendar set up, and most of this actually is pretty much set in place. I won't go through it now, but we're going to have all of our usual things, Esper Genesis and the Patreon, the Game of the Month and all that kind of good stuff is happening. We'll take nominations for that starting next week, etc. But the thing I want to sort of call your attention to is that we will actually have 2 semifinal rounds and then a final round for Arvanaut Idol 3. The first semifinal round, it's not that either. Where's my other one? I think it might be, I'm trying to remember where the heck I put the other semifinal round. Semifinal 1. Okay, I may not have added. Oh, there it is. There. Okay, good. I was like, where the heck did I put this? Okay, now I found it. So, Arvanaut Idol semifinal 1 is the 19th. Arvanaut Idol semifinal 2 is the 23rd. That is a Saturday. And then the final for Arvanaut Idol 3 will be Friday the 29th. Now, you may be asking yourselves, what is Arvanaut Idol? I'm glad you asked. Arvanaut Idol is our short story contest, and it's basically determined by chat. The way that we run it is that the semifinalists, and there will be up to 8 of them, the semifinalists will compete against each other. They will send in their short stories. I will give, well, the way it works is I give them a prompt. So at the beginning of the stream, I give them a prompt. I give them a line, something like, on the day the statue moved, everything changed. That's just off the top of my head, something like that. And then they go off and have a certain amount of time, sometimes 90 minutes, sometimes 60 minutes, to write a short, very short story based upon that initial prompt. They then submit it to me, and then I read it to chat, anonymously, obviously, and then chat makes the vote on which story they liked the best. They basically rank the stories. The top 2 vote getters move on to the final round in each case. So there's 4 semifinalists in each semifinal. The top 2 in each case move on to the final round. We do the same thing with a different prompt in the final round, and the winner is considered Arvanaut Idol. They will actually get a copy of 2 books, which I will ship to them, which is usually, one of them is On Writing by Stephen King, a great practical guide to aspects of writing, and then the other one is something which sometimes varies from place to place. Yeah, the weird white box is because I've got the calendar up, Miranda. That's what that is. I just have the calendar up. There we go. Better? There we are. So so what was I saying? So yes, so we've got those things that get placed in, and then the winner is considered Arvanaut Idol. The first winner of this was Classicor a couple of years ago with Arvanaut Idol 1. Second winner was our own Kilobyte, who won in 2016, late 2016. So this is the first time we will have run this actually in almost 2 years, and we are running Arvanaut Idol 3 because of where we got with the Patreon. So here is what you folks need to know, and I will be announcing this to everybody else. If you would like to participate, what I will need to have done is people need to send me a copy of a short story that they have written. This is not based on a prompt. This is a short story that you are writing. It is a short story. Generally, the thought is towards the fantasy science fiction side, but it does not have to be. And what I want is for people to either PM them to me on Discord or to send them to me on Twitch or something like that where I can get a contact of them. The stories are a maximum of 2 pages in length. So that means we're talking about maximum, if you figure there's about 350 words on a page, we're talking about 700 words, 2 pages maximum. Can't go over that limit, and the reason is because the whole point of this is to see whether you can write well in a brief amount of space. I will then go through those entries, and I will then determine who will be in the semifinals. So if we get 16 entries, I will cut down on 8 of them, and the 8 semifinalists that I present to you will then be in the semifinals of Arvanaut Idol. So that's the deal with that. Now I want to be clear here. I want to recommend that everyone who is thinking about it actually go and do it, including Genli, and here's why. The only way that you're going to be able to get better at writing, in my judgment, is to do more of it, and it's to do more of it in the context where you're getting feedback from other people. Now, obviously, having a time limit makes this a little bit more difficult than if it were just by yourself at home. But I do think that considering the fact that you're just writing a very brief story, remember, the actual story itself can be, if you wanted to write just a page and a half for the actual semifinal round, that's fine. There's no requirement in terms of minimum or maximum length, as long as, obviously, it can't just be a sentence. It's got to be, a story. But the story does not have to be extensive or incredibly long. And so I want to recommend this. I have many English as a second language speakers who've done this before and have done very well. People like Pyron Jade, who is German, of course. Pyron Jade actually got all the way to the finals. And we've had multiple other people like that. Classicor himself is German and has English as a second language, and so was able to win. So I do want to give that as a recommendation. So this is the dance. So this is the thing. So I think you should, I highly encourage that people do it. If you don't get into the semifinals, please do not be discouraged. This is nothing to do with you will never be a good writer. It's not what this is about. It's for fun. And it's also to highlight one of the things that I think is important, which is communication and writing. Now, you might be asking yourself, what about the deadline? That is very important. And so the deadline for this, the deadline to actually do this is going to be this Saturday. So I'm going to make an announcement about that. Actually, wait a minute. Let me double check on that. I may be wrong. I'm sorry. 1 week from today. I beg your pardon. Scratch that. You have 1 week from today. You have 1 week from today to send me, again, private message or via Discord or whatever, to send me your submission. Again, it can be a short story on any topic, but it needs to be a maximum of 2 pages, 350 words on each page, roughly speaking. Okay, so 2 pages. If you want a single space, that's fine. However, if you give me 8-point font, I will decline it out of hand because glasses man, okay, have a break on a 45-year-old, please. So again, the deadline for this is next week, so Tuesday the 12th, and then the first semifinal will be the week after that, which is Tuesday the 19th. The second semifinal will be Saturday the 23rd. So as a quick reminder to everybody, when you become a semifinalist, you will have to come to either Tuesday night or Saturday night to be in the semifinals. So you're going to have to be able to come to one of those so you can participate in this. So the original submission is due 1 week from now, and then the actual semifinal rounds. And remember, you don't need to submit anything for the semifinal rounds. Once you're in, then you just have to wait for whatever the prompt is and write a story based on the prompt. That is going to be the 19th and the 23rd. The final round of Arva Not Idle 3 will take place on Friday the 29th. So that's what we're looking at, okay? So 12th of June is the deadline for this early submission, this first submission. And then the first semifinal will be the 19th, and the other semifinal will be the 23rd. So you will have to pick one or the other of those semifinal rounds when you actually become a semifinalist. But that's assuming you become one. So first things first, that's what you have to do. It might be, by the way, it might be 4 versus 4. It might be 3 versus 3. It won't be 2 versus 2, though. It'll either be 4 versus 4 or 3 versus 3. It depends on how many entries we get, okay? So spread the word. Let people know. Find out about it. This is it's for fun, but it's also something which can give you some serious work for the contest. That would be good stuff. Okay, now I have taken way too long while this incredibly talented person and a good friend of mine has been waiting patiently, and so I am going to unmute myself and apologize to her profusely as I was making all these announcements. And then I am going to unmute her in just a minute when I find my damn volume control. There it is. There we go. I'm going to unmute her, and then I will head over to the place that we call Lone Wolf, and I will present to you. Why is that not working? Hold on a second. Oh, because I put the wrong one up. This is what I want. Haha, there we go. And I'm happy to welcome back from her triumphant experience at Comic Salon, the inimitable Terry Tunes. Hi, Terry. How are you? Sorry it took so long.
Hello. Well, it's fine. At some point, I was just like checking the stream because I was like, did he like forget to?
I totally forgot you're there. No.
Technical difficulties. Did his internet die or something?
Yeah. No, I'm
just
sorry.
Like making an announcement.
No, I was just making a couple of big announcements that I had to do. So yeah. So welcome, Terry. So do you want to tell the folks where you were over the past weekend about stuff?
Yes, absolutely. So I have been to the Comic Salon in Erlangen here in Germany, which is the biggest German comic convention and also the most important one. Because this is also where the Max und Moritz Prize is, award, I guess. Max und Moritz Award is given out, which is the biggest German comic award, I think. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Got to draw a lot, sell a lot of stuff like postcards and stuff. Sadly, I didn't sell a single poster, but I tried.
Oh man, that's interesting. I wonder how big are the posters? Is it people couldn't fit it or something? Or?
It's A3, I think. Yes, A3 posters.
I see. Okay. See, that's like and by the way, so apparently you sold very well. So see, people now that the word has gone out about your talent, now this is going to become, you won't be able to walk along the street without being recognized, like it's.
Oh God,
it's on the way.
That doesn't happen to comic artists anyway. No, it's just like for the main part, like a lot of people who go there actually are like not the biggest comic nerds. Like it's usually people from the general area who are like, oh, so there is this like big event happening. Let's go take the family there. And like, for the most part, a lot of moms always buy at my place.
Okay.
Because I really dig my art style apparently. Also, like for the first time, I started to sell originals that are not postcards specifically drawn for the convention. Like usually I have like a lot of blanco postcards that I draw on when I'm at conventions where like draw whatever on, like superheroes,
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon, whatever. And yeah, this time I also, in preparation, dug through a lot of my old art. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not emotionally attached to this drawing anymore. Might as well sell it. So yeah, I had like a lot of that going on this time as well. So
That's cool.
yeah.
So there was a lot of actual like growing of yourself as a professional
Yes.
artist selling stuff, you know.
Yeah, because I always like, for the most part, like I always felt very attached to like my original drawings. So like I never wanted to sell them, but like for the most part, I've been like, okay, I haven't looked at these drawings for years and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So might as well sell them. And like the one drawing where I assumed it would sell first, it actually did sell first.
Okay.
So that was also a thing, like this ink drawing I made of a tree, like back in 2014. So yeah, that like sold almost immediately, which was nice.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. And by the end, just I know we want to get into actually doing this, but just quickly, can you tell me what you saw the person doing that you were really impressed by?
Oh yes, absolutely. So every salon, there is this large party hosted by the biggest German comic publisher, Panini, and this time it was at a new location, which had like a bunch of dance floors and 2 concert halls, and like a beer garden. It was fucking enormous. Oh, sorry, swearing. I should not do that.
It's okay. This was at a beer garden.
It's
I get
hacking.
it. Yeah, no, it was a beer garden. I get it. Like...
There we go. Saved it. No, but like we were just going there because that's where everybody goes. Like especially the artists. And like at the top floor, a concert was happening by some blues rock band we never heard about. And they teamed up with this year's winner of the Best Artist of the Year award, I think. Reinhard Kleist is his name. You all have to absolutely check out his art. It's absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
He, for example, did a graphic novel on Johnny Cash, if anybody's interested in that one.
That's cool.
Yes. But yeah, what they did is that they put up a large a projection wall. Is that what you call it in English?
Possibly. I need to know the rest of.
Yeah, but like they put up a large white thing behind the stage. Yeah, like a large screen. Yes, okay. Basically. Where they and then the artist would like stand on the opposite side of the stage where he would draw in ink, and they would live project that on the stage.
Yeah, that's cool.
And like every drawing was like set to one specific song, and he would like do a speed painting based on that song. And it was absolutely mind-blowing what he did. Like, I need a few more years to get to that level, but yeah.
That's all right. Whatever. They stole our idea. No, I was joking. He's like, we've been doing there for a while. No, that's awesome though. And you know what it just reminded me of too was Mike Krahulik from Penny Arcade, who does that now at his Penny Arcade stuff, but not nearly as fast. Like he'll do that during a panel, and he's not doing it to music. He's doing it as people are talking to him, and he's like, but still, it's not one creative idea pulling out another creative idea, like what you and I do here, or what they were doing there. So that's cool though. I dig that. And like I was saying, anytime I get to see anyone creative doing stuff like that, especially when I am continually mind blown by that particular form of creativity, like that's pretty awesome. So I dig it. That's cool. So it was effective, and it was productive, and yeah, like I said, it continues Terry's rise to glory. It's a good thing we have her now, folks, because pretty soon she won't even recognize us. Sedan chair, just taking from place to place.
Yeah, right. But it's like I was so mad after the concert because none of my friends and colleagues had gone there.
Oh,
like,
really?
And everybody had like said, yeah, we are going to meet up at that place for the party. And like everybody arrived after the concert, and I was just like, guys, you missed out so hard.
Yep, this is what happens.
God.
Yeah, you can't...
And I've been trying to tell them like just how amazing it was, but they didn't believe me or didn't register with them.
Did they record it or something, or did they tape it?
I don't know. I haven't checked actually. Like maybe they did. Would need to check the YouTubes for that, I guess.
That would be pretty sweet if they did. Anyway, that's cool.
Because like it's one of those things where you would need to see it happen live. Like just looking at the finished artworks does not do the trick.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just.
That's cool.
Damn.
That's something also, now that I think of it, that would be useful for my creative writing course, because I teach, as you know, I do a thing where I kind of tell them about different aspects of creativity, not just the writing at the very beginning. And I have people actually Chrono Wolf, that people know on here, talks to them about music and about scoring, music scoring and film scoring. So it's neat to be able to do stuff like that. So that actually gives me some thoughts about things to do for that. Anyway, cool. That's really cool, Terry. Well, let's get to our own creative projects.
I guess.
And I see, do you want to tell us, you've already got this, you were drawing this while I was in the midst of my complaining. So this is our guy, I can see, who's wondering if we should walk into the obvious trap or go around. And I think generally we go into obvious traps. That's how we do things here. So,
just like I was just thinking about like the whole voting process while I drew this. I was like, yeah, this would fit that drawing.
Completely. This is just like, this is what we should totally do. So, all right, let's get some music. Chat, give me some suggestions for our little soundtrack that we can use today for this, as we're going to be with you for the next couple hours here. This thing that we're doing, by the way, is Lone Wolf, the Chasm of Doom. We are now in book 4. And essentially what we have done here is we departed Homeguard, which was tasked with solving the kingdom's numerous pressing concerns. But the main concern is the fact that a shipment of very valuable ore has gone missing. And so we have been sent out to find out what happened and as to why. We went there and found there were a lot of strange things happening, a lot of bandits around, sent a scouting party out. The scouting party didn't return. We found a burnt out wagon while creeping into the valley. We ended up going into this section of the Makan mines. We ended up finding the 2 missing scouts that we sent. We ended up finding so we overpowered the guards, but we then didn't interrogate them properly. But we did find a brass key and Lompspur among them. We tried to fight to save the lives of our embattled rangers. We failed both. Neither of them died. We fought a wounded guard on this side of the bridge as we were trying to run from them. Then we decided to run over the bridge and thought we were going to be super smart by pulling a rope on the other side to make the bridge fall. But instead of doing that, it actually made the portcullis fall, so we couldn't escape and had to fight them, which was unfortunate. But the good news is that we managed to seal the tunnel behind us, which is where we are right now. And the good news for us as well is that we have pretty much an epic character at the moment. We have a combat skill of 26. We have endurance points right now. That's the only problem. Endurance points of 4. So we definitely need some healing. And hopefully we will get some of that healing as time goes on. But so we are in good shape as far as our overall stats, but we do need to get some health points back. So that is the deal with that. What's up, Caro? Yeah, the first part of book 4, I was just sort of describing what we actually went through, but we, now we've got the second part of book 4. Okay, so not seeing any suggestions about OST. Let's see. What's a good one that I could choose? Perhaps I will choose... no. Oh, actually, you know what? Maybe. Because you see, I discovered recently... Yeah, there we go. Joe Dever's Lone Wolf soundtrack. Because there is a Lone Wolf game... called Lone Wolf HD Remastered that I just discovered. Apparently it came out a couple years ago, and I have put it on my to-be-played list in the not-too-distant future. And it looks like kind of an action-oriented game. It reminds me a little bit of the combat sections of Hand of Fate, which may or may not be a good thing, depending on how you felt about that section. But regardless, I mean, it's Lone Wolf, and so I think it's appropriate, so we're going to see how it goes. So I'm going to turn this on. There's our Lone Wolf soundtrack main theme. All right, let me know, folks, how the sound is relative to everything else, and let's do it. Oh, I already love it. We've already got the sound of the sound of the voice in the background. It's already good. Okay, here we go.
So, what do you need me to do?
So I don't yet have an idea. Let me read a section or two, and let's see if we can figure it out together, because I don't have an idea yet. Okay. Less than 50 yards along the tunnel wall, you notice a lever. Your Kai instincts make you naturally suspicious of this unusual feature, and you scour the floor looking for evidence of a trap. You find nothing, but a glance at the roof reveals the underside of a wide portcullis hidden between 2 beams. You pull the lever, and the portcullis falls, sealing off the tunnel behind you. To make sure you will not be followed, you smash the lever with a wedge of stone before continuing along the tunnel. Okay. You are hungry and must now eat a meal. As usual, they don't allow us to use hunting because they know that we're awesome otherwise. Must eat a meal. Fortunately, we have one. Although we don't have a lot of them, actually. I think we've only got one special ration. Yeah, so our iron ration is gone, but that's all right. It's okay. We're still in there. That's what this was there for. You then continue along the tunnel, which runs for several miles. Music could be lower. Okay. Okay, hopefully that's a little better. You then continue along the tunnel, which runs for several miles more before eventually arriving at a long, deserted gallery. A line of empty ore wagons lie parked along a stretch of track that disappears into the west wall of this gallery. Above the arched tunnel, a flight of wooden stairs leads to a smaller passage lit by a spluttering torch. You stay hidden in the shadows, watching the gallery for half an hour before you are satisfied that it is safe to enter. Now it says, if you have the Kai discipline of tracking and if you've reached the Kai rank of aspirant, and we have. Judging by the smoothness of the stone floor and the condition of the ore wagons, you deduce that this gallery must service a major section of the mines. A fresh breeze can be felt blowing out of the west tunnel, and you sense that you must be near the surface. Ruanan lies due west, the same direction as the ore wagon tunnel. You take a deep breath and emerge from the shadows, cross the gallery, and quietly enter the archway beyond. As you make your way along the torchlit tunnel, you pass several ore wagons. Oh, I think I see a picture coming up for you, Terry. Several ore wagons bearing the same design branded upon their wooden sides. A cross moline above the initials OV. There it is right there. You recognize the seal of Orin Vanelund, the Baron of... I can speak. Orin Vanelund, the Baron of Ruanan, and it confirms the fact that you are heading in the right direction. Suddenly, the sound of approaching footsteps begins to echo along the tunnel ahead. They become louder, accompanied now by shouting and the crack of a whip. So, here is our first, the first one of the day, folks, the first vote of the day. And the question is going to be this. Should we, and I think Terry will be doing a picture of this, is my guess, should we dive into one of the empty ore wagons or hide in the shadows of the rough tunnel wall? New power, kill pain. So hide in the shadows of the rough tunnel wall or dive into one of the empty ore wagons. I'm going to open this poll now. So the way you do this is $vote space and then the number you'd like to vote for. Now is your chance to direct the path of this. Diving into the ore wagon or hiding in the shadows. Diving into the ore wagon sounds like Indiana Jones. I agree. I agree.
Oh, here's a fun-ish anecdote anyway. I can tell from the comics a lot. Actually, on the Saturday, Saturday is always kind of a cosplay day, the official one.
Okay.
For the convent, because that's when the competition is happening. So one of my colleagues from Toons Up, the guys I always go to conventions with and share a table with, the founder of those, he came up without any announcement, completely dressed up in an absolutely spot on Indiana Jones costume.
Okay.
With a real whip and everything. It was really...
Did he have the hat?
Yes, he had the whole
awesome.
thing. It was absolutely on point.
That's really cool. I dig it. Lucathea, thank you for the resub. I love the resub message. Subscribe for 5 months in a row. First of all, thank you, Lucathea. I heard this was the place for afternoon orgasms. Yes, you have come to the right place. You have come to the right place for orgasms. All right, so we have dive into one of the empty ore wagons is currently in front. I understand why people are choosing that. I'm going to last call this, but now's your chance to get in here as well. What's up with it, 10? We have camouflage diving into the ore wagons. Well, maybe you could be camouflaged in the ore, you know? We don't know. Maybe Lone Wolf's expertise is, maybe he worked with his sensei, basically, to become better at jumping into rocks. That's possible. I'm digging this black background here.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna use a lot of shadows in this one, so I might as well
love
just sketch out everything in white on black. Might save me some time.
Yep. Yeah, with intent. Hide in the shadows. Well, the funny thing is, if this were a different sort of environment, I can imagine you guys being like, well, clearly we'll hide in the shadows because that's all thief and everything. But then it's like, for this, you're just like, sounds like Indiana Jones. Like, if it was dive in the bucket of filth, I don't think anyone would be in favor of that. But the ore wagon, jealous of Terry's skills? No, I am admiring of Terry's skills. I'm not going to be jealous of something that I have no possible hope of doing. I have other creative things that I'm very happy with, but fine art is not one of them. So I'm just admiring of her ability. And her work, by the way. Sometimes I hate that. It's like, oh, the talent. Like, you just, oh, yeah, you're so talented. Like, you just didn't do anything. Like, it takes a lot of work, people. Okay.
At least you understand.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's something I work with. It's funny, my daughter has been on this lately, this kick, where she where she's like, oh, this is really cool. I'd love to do this. And we're like, and you know how to do that. And now she knows. She's like, practice. Like, yep, that's right. I really want to be a chef. What, you know what to do? Do I have to practice? Yep, that's what you have to do. That's the human life. So envious. Yeah. I mean, I guess. But I just am content to admire what I see. Actually, in that case, when I read Ian McDonald's work, then I'm envious and jealous because I'm like, God damn it, that guy's a good writer. So okay, we're gonna close this poll, and the winner is the empty ore wagon. Okay, raising the
Who would
hood.
have thought?
Yeah, I know, right? What a shock. Raising the hood of your Kai cloak, you crouch in the bottom of an empty ore wagon and wait with bated breath. Through a gap in the wood, you can see a haggard procession of men shuffling towards you. An escort of bandit warriors pushes them forward, beating any who falter or slip out of line. You feel a sudden jolt as your wagon is pushed along the tunnel and glance up to see a sweat-streaked face peering down at you. Run left when I say go, whispers the face, then disappears over the edge of the wagon. As the wagon emerges from the tunnel, sunlight suddenly floods over you. Through the crack, you can now see your destination. The wagons are being shunted onto a timber gantry where the track ends some 50 feet above a huge mound of ore. Your observations are cut short by a hissed command. Go! Now the question is, do you wish to leap from the wagon and run to the left as you were instructed, jump from the wagon and run right, or ignore the command and stay where you are? That is the question. And here we go. Yeah, well, sure, Dragon. So what's it going to be? Do we leap from the wagon and run to the left? Or do we jump from the wagon and run right? Or do we ignore the command and stay where we are? Do you trust this man? Do you trust me? What if the guy actually, as he did this, the guy actually said to you, like, no matter what occurs, I will find you. Little Last of the Mohicans. Ah, Brahms. Thanks, man. That's kind of you. Kind of you to say. Oh, I didn't make this teaser announcement, by the way. I have a D&D related announcement, which I will be making on No, I'm not sure about Friday because I am going to be, I may not have a stream on Friday because I'm going to be playing with my band, as I said. I'm not sure. Friday's up in the air. But Saturday is Esper Genesis, and I will have an announcement about a D&D related thing during Saturday's Esper Genesis session, so you will not want to miss that. You would jump lift, but you think Lone Wolf is not an amber jumper? Well, how do you know he's right-handed? Maybe he's left-handed. Maybe he's left-footed. Maybe his original name was Left Wolf, but they were like, nah, it's not going to work.
Left Wolf.
Left Wolf.
How about Link Wolf?
Link Wolf.
Because it's like the entire I don't know if like people like in like the English who play like the English versions of Zelda actually get it, but like Link is left-handed, right? And Links is German for left.
Oh.
So, yes.
No, I didn't know that actually.
Yes.
Okay, so it's left-handed. No, I mean I just assumed. In that case, so when he goes in the wagon, presumably like Lone Wolf in this theory picks up da 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 da, like picks up the key or whatever.
No, that was when he got the sword.
When he got that's true actually.
The summer
sword. He just gets the sword and then like that. You don't need to ever play the.
I mean, look at him. He even wears green and tights and stuff like that. He's all he needs is a jelly bean cap. Or what it's called.
That's true. That is true. I actually am going to be a player in a D&D game, Dragon, because I'm going to be participating for a session or two in John's Emberwind game that he's running for us. But that's not actually the specific announcement I'm thinking about it. He's left-handed unless he's traveling west. He's a bit OCD like that. Offlinks Naturlik, is that okay? Is that the what is translate for me, Terry? Offlinks Naturlik.
Wait.
I know my pronunciation. I know.
You have a very heavy accent. Who said that?
Lucathea.
here?
Maybe it's auf links?
I don't... Oh, down there. Oh, auf links natürlich.
Auf links natürlich.
In left, obviously. That's what that
I see. All right, good. So you won't be able to do anything to me. I have a native German speaker who can provide the actual reality. Are you joining the D&D campaign on Sunday? That's also not the announcement.
Arf,
Yeah.
also, like you are stretching the image for the live stream, which makes everything a bit distorted.
Give me a second. I didn't think I was
yes.
doing that. Wait a minute. Give me a second. Maybe you're right. Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's because, yeah, I was trying to cut, okay. I don't like, so I just unstretched it. Are you cool with that, though? Because it's not going to get all of the stuff to the left.
Yes.
You're all right with that? Okay. So.
Yeah, just like kind of center it, I guess.
All right, so like, oh, God damn it. Like this, is that all right? You'll see it in a minute.
Street. Yes, that looks good.
Okay, cool.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I must have done that by accident.
Like,
I was trying
we
to
are gonna
avoid,
have to, like, because I'm doing this at DIN A format. So, and I'm assuming the window you have is not DIN A. That's why you have to, like, cut off things.
We should talk to our good friend Kilobyte
Yes.
about that. About resolving
like,
that
if I
problem.
just, like, get the correct measurements, and I can just, like, adjust my canvas to, like, what we need.
Yeah, okay. Another native German speaker. We have a number of Germans who watch this channel. I think soon we could just make our stream in German. Only if Terry's doing all of it and I just nod occasionally. Like, that's the only way you get me to be able to do it in German. All right. So it looks like we're going to get a last call. Looks like we're leaping from this wagon and running to the left. That might be disastrous. You think? A diplomatic incident was created today as Germany severed all diplomatic relations with America after this one streamer somehow insulted the German people repeatedly by accident. Oh, I'm sorry. Probably gonna miss the announcement. Hen to bed at 9. Yeah, Brahms, I was going up here looking for this for your comments about your son. I did see that. So he has a big boy bed. I saw that on Twitter that you made that. First night he slept through, had no issues. Last night he fell out 4 times. At one point he fell out, stayed asleep, and rolled across the floor. Oh my God, Brahms. We actually had a railing on my daughter's bed that we eventually took off, but there was a railing on there basically to keep her from rolling off. So I don't know if you have something similar, but that was one way. You're a quarter French German. Does that qualify? I don't think so, Dragon. Unless if you've got the language, you know, far be it from me. You got one today? Yeah, that should help a little bit. Bist du ein Berliner? Well, so from what I understand, the I'm never gonna do it right, but the Ich bin ein Berliner. Apparently, as it was originally said, I heard there was that famous thing where they claimed that Kennedy said, "I am a jelly donut." But then supposedly that isn't actually what he said in German.
No. Okay, so
what
let
is
me explain.
it? You tell me.
No, Berliner is like both a person from Berlin and a jelly donut. It means both things, but only outside of Berlin it's a jelly donut. It's kind of complicated because there's a thing which is over here where I live, it's called a Berliner. But like in Berlin, it's called a Pfannkuchen, a pancake, for some reason, even though it's not a pancake, it's a donut.
So you mean everyone outside of Berlin laughed, but in Berlin they thought it was awesome? Is that
No. It's like, no, it's obvious that like Berliner is just a person from Berlin. That's why that thing is called Berliner, because it's associated with that town, Berlin. It's like a hamburger, you know? Hamburger is called Hamburger because it's like named after the town of Hamburg.
I got you. Okay.
So yeah, like, and the person from Hamburg is a hamburger, you know?
Right. Okay.
So,
but
yeah.
there's got to be limits to this? Like someone from Heidelberg is not a Heidelberger, right? Like
no, they are.
They are a Heidelberger.
Yes.
So is someone from Bonn a Bonner?
Yes. Yes, we are. I'm not from that town. I just lived there.
I just lived there. Okay. I want to make sure.
Like I'm from the Rhineland, so I'm a Rhinelander.
You're a Rhinelander. Okay.
Yes.
That's actually, I mean, that's a badass warrior sound. Rhinelander. You know, it sounds like it's pretty awesome. All right, so we are leaping from the wagon. We are running to the left. You leap over the side of the wagon and sprint towards a line of densely packed trees less than 20 yards from the track. Luck is with you, for the bandit guards fail to notice your daring escape, and the wagons continue on their way towards the gantry. Pausing just long enough to catch your breath, you give silent thanks to the stranger who helped you before pressing onwards to the trees. Hell yeah, silent stranger. Thanks, dude. Whoever you are that we'll never know. The trees are alive with the sound of music. No, with bandit patrols, but your quick wits and Kai skills prevent you from being seen by them. Eventually, you reach the edge of the copse. You find yourself staring out across an expanse of open plain towards Ruanan. And by the way, just in case anyone's curious about this Ruanan place, let me show you what we're talking about here. So Ruanan is right here. You folks can see where I've got my... Oh, let me get rid of Arvbot. You can see right where I've got my arrow. This is near... So we basically went through the Makan mines. We're now here in Ruanan. And we wanted to get here to find out what happened to that bloody caravan that disappeared. So this is... we've made our way successfully so far. We just, lost our entire group. But listen, it's not called Pack Wolf, okay? It's called Lone Wolf. So I feel like we're just living up to the name. The trees are alive with bandit. Okay. Much of the mining town has been burnt to the ground. Oh, snap. The blackened ruins of what were once shops, cottages, and taverns are now little more than smoldering mounds of charcoal. You are beginning to fear the worst, that Ruanan has been totally destroyed, when a gentle breeze clears the haze of wood smoke hanging like a gray curtain over the ruins. Inside the perimeter of ruined buildings, a barricade has been thrown up around a tower of stone. Above the tower, a tattered flag still flies, bringing renewed hope. It is the sun flag of Sommerlund, edged with a band of white braid, the cavalry standard of the King's Guard Regiment. The sudden crack of a twig makes you freeze. You glance behind to see 3 bandits creeping through the trees towards you. The wide steel tips of their spears glint. They seem to be coated with a clear, sticky fluid. Oh, boy. That's cool, Genly. Terry does sometimes read chat, but she spends a lot of her time drawing because that's, but she does check in chat occasionally.
Well, usually when you tell me to.
When I tell you. Did you have a question for her, Miranda, that I missed? We can't help if the red shirt security guards keep thinking they can help Lone Wolf. Exactly. If they knew that their name was Smith McGillicuddy, that they had no first name and that they were wearing a red shirt, they would know not to help them. Okay, so we do possess the Kai discipline of hunting. You recognize Nadern sap dripping from their spears. It is a deadly poison. You dare not risk engaging in combat with these bandits, for the merest graze from one of their tainted weapons could be fatal. Leaping to your feet, you race away from the trees and run towards Ruanan. From all along the forest edge, groups of bandits emerge from the trees, whipped and scolded by their bullying sergeants for allowing you to escape. This spurs you to quicken your pace, and you cover the first 100 yards with ease. This is like the Nazgul Fellowship of the Ring chase. Then arrows begin to fall around you. You duck and weave, making yourself a difficult target for the archers. And gradually you realize that someone has not done their playlist properly. There we go. And gradually, the falling shafts dwindle in number. You smile at their futile attempts to stop you, but your confidence is soon shaken by a pack of snarling warhounds breaking out of the woods to your right. They are off the leash and hungry for blood. You are less than 500 yards from Ruanan, but the warhounds are closing in. Okay, so now the question is, what are we going to do? And then I will ask that question, Miranda. What should we do? Quicken pace? And try to outrun them. That's the escape the Nazgul one. Or stop and fight them. So quicken our pace and try to outrun them, or stop and fight them is the poll that I've put up. And Miranda asks Terry if the usage of ein in Kennedy's famous statement was grammatically acceptable. I know everybody knows what he was trying to say, but I was wondering if what he actually said was or was not good. It is?
Berliner is masculinum, so ein is the correct article.
Okay. So yes, he was correct. So ha!
No, they actually we actually spoke about this in English class when I was a kid, about this specific quote that apparently his interpreter wrote out this phrase for him because he asked for it, and then he went ahead and tried to write it down in English pronunciation so that his pronunciation would get closer to what it's actually supposed to be pronounced at. So basically what he wrote down was ICKINE and then Berliner, I think, with a double E or something, like completely wrong spelled, but the way you would pronounce it in English, so that would work out again.
Okay. Wow.
Just as a little crowd pleaser,
I see. Okay, so it does. All right, so good. So he didn't. So he did try to actually get the.
Yes, he did try.
Okay.
He didn't get to properly sound correct because there's no sound in English. Not really.
Okay.
So you can't really do the CH thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was like the closest he could do
Cool.
currently. Yeah.
Cool. Also, I just got a notice on my email that is odd to me. Hold on a second.
Also, while he does that, fun fact for everybody listening in, like every second bridge is named after Kennedy in this country.
Oh, really?
For some reason.
I
Yeah,
can't
like
imagine.
every large town is a bridge. Like every large town that has a river going through it, there is a very good chance that the main bridge is named after Kennedy.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Many of our bridges are the same way. So I want to thank, we just got a Patreon boost. So we are now up to 383.96. For those of you who missed this, thank you so much, first of all. And if you want to announce who you were, I don't want to announce it otherwise. For some reason, it didn't show up on my, like it didn't, the notification thing didn't go off, and I don't know why. So that's, I don't know what the hell happened. But anyway, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, please, if you wish to acknowledge who you are, please do so, because I would love to be able to acknowledge you. And thank you. And this is actually, for those of you who were a little bit late here, the reason that the number is down substantially is one of our big supporters had to take a step back for a month. The person actually asked me first if it was okay and said that this person is they're definitely going to be back next month. And, you know, they just had this stuff. And I'm like, I can't believe you're actually asking me permission. But of course, you are more than, that's totally fine. And thank you. So I was really, really nice to the person in question. But anyway, so that's why the number is a little lower than normal. But yeah, so thank you for the person who just jumped on board to help. And if you want to say who you are, feel free to do that. If not, I will not announce you, since I don't know why it didn't pop up here. Just repledging. Oh, okay. So thanks, Stump. I don't know what happened. Maybe because it was a repledge or something, it didn't pick it up. I don't know why. But thank you, Stump-O-Matic. Thank you, dude, so much. I appreciate that. Can we get some love and thanks and hypes and everything for Stump-O-Matic? Thank you, dude, so much. Really appreciate it. Stump has been one of the most generous folks that is on the stream out of so many, of course. So thank you, Stump. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. All right. Meanwhile, let us last call this. Right now, we're looking at the quickening our pace. Yeah, you didn't know he was that popular in Germany? Why he would be, and if we didn't know that. Yeah. During a time when we had sane presidents.
Well, also, like, you mustn't forget that, like, Germany, like, at least West Germany was, like, basically under American government for quite a while, so let's not forget that part. So.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
And, like a lot of these bridges are in towns that have been, like, bombed to shreds during World War II,
yeah.
So, this is just, like, me making, like, assumptions, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, a lot of these bridges were actually built under American supervision. So
I see. Okay. Yeah. So it isn't just we love the Americans. You know, I got you. Yeah, there's I'm sure there's something to that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let us close that out and we will quicken our pace and try to outrun them. All right. You try to ignore your aching legs and the fear that knots your stomach by forcing your concentration on the sun flag, a fluttering symbol of hope in the distance. Your fate is streaked with sweat and your lungs feel as though they will burst, but you dare not slacken your pace. The thought of warhound fangs closing and tugging on your skin is all you need to drive you forward. At 400 yards, you can see that the barricade and watchtower are inhabited, but at this distance, the faces you can see are only a line of small pink dots on the walls. This is good music for this race. At 300 yards, you run into some gruesome remains where the corpses of bandits lie twisted on the ground, most killed by arrows. Many have lain in the open for weeks. A flock of startled carrion crows rise shrieking from their feast as you race through the bodies. You turn away in disgust. Suddenly, a new sound drifts across the plain, the sound of cheering. The beleaguered defenders have spotted you and recognized your green Kai cloak. 200 yards to go. You have just passed the ruins of a burnt-out cottage when you feel an agonizing pain tear through your left thigh. An arrow has pierced your leg, and you pitch forward into the mud and ash. Ow. Crouched in the ruined cottage, a bandit sniper raises his bow and takes careful aim at your head. Well, crap. Oh, God. I have a feeling 10 is going to be really bad. Yep. God damn it. The twang of the sniper's bow and the hiss of an arrow are the last sounds that you hear in this world. The shaft punctures your skull and you die instantly. Your life and your mission end here. God damn it. I knew that was going to happen. God bless America. All right. Well, Anyway. Crap. Alright, we're going to get back to that same spot. We've already done this business. We're outrunning them. Alright, let's go. We're getting right back to the same place. I knew it too. I'm like, I bet 0 is the insta-death pick. And yep. No, it's not a first, but... Okay. Man, okay, 1 death. I think that might be our first death. I'm trying to remember if we died once before. I think we may have died once before in book 1, maybe. A scream of pain and terror fills the air. The sniper crashes to the ground. Oh, no Amazing Grace. No. I was, because we were in the middle of a race, Miranda, so I wanted to jump back into it. Frankly, that one random number thing kind of annoyed me, I guess is why, so. Joe Deaver's Lone Wolf. Exactly, Brahms. This music is actually from that game, and it's also available on Steam. I actually have it marked down to play at some point. Also, what's up, Takanjia? Exactly, Lucathea. The sniper crashes to the ground as the jaws of a warhound clamp tightly around his neck. Other hounds are drawn by his ghastly screams, and he is soon ripped to pieces. You look up to see a man running towards you from the barricade. He has a shield in one hand and a longbow in the other. It is Captain Duvall. He reaches you breathless from his run and draws an arrow from his quiver. The warhounds, tired of their victim, are in search of fresh sport and are turning their attentions on you. Duvall aims and fires, drawing another arrow as soon as his bow is empty. Warhounds tumble and crash to the ground around you, felled by Duvall's deadly shafts. Can you guys hear it? The sound, this music is playing with the violin is like the wolves are like with one arrow, and then he's like Legolasing it, right? The captain grabs you by the arm and swings you over his shoulder in one swift movement before carrying you back to the barricade. Others run forward to help him, but the bandit archers are now in range, and the men are forced back by a hail of arrows. The red shafts whistle past on all sides. Finally, you reach the barricade. A wagon is pulled aside, and you are carried through the open gap. Captain Duvall is close to exhaustion. He staggers, and his men rush to catch him before he drops you to the ground. Wow. A circle of unshaven faces are staring down at you. I think I had heard that, Miranda. Yeah, I had. At first I thought it was a Freeze Psychonauts, and I'm like, wow, really? A soldier cradles your leg as another snaps the shaft buried deeply in your thigh. But before you can even cry out in pain, he has drawn the arrow from your leg with one swift tug. Oh! Ouch. You are very lucky, Kai Lord, he says as he bandages a handful of Lompspur to your aching limb. The wound is clean and the bleeding is but sight. You lose 4 endurance points. Ow. But the soldier's quick thinking and skill has saved your leg from infection. With great care, the soldiers carry both you and Captain Duvall into the stone watchtower. I was hoping the king would send a large search party, says Captain Duvall wryly, now having fully recovered from his exhaustion. I was beginning to tire of this town. You rise from your straw bed and offer your thanks to the captain. His brave and timely action saved you from certain death. In fact, the certain death that you had just before this moment when you were taken out by a sniper. 'Tis nothing to compare with you, Lone Wolf. Your bravery is legend. Your presence here is worth 100 men. He's had a crippling Lompspur addiction since halfway through book 1, that's true. He asks you about your mission, and you recount the events that have led you to this meeting. The ride south, the loss of your company, your passage through the Makan mines, and the bandits. Yes, the bandits. Baraka's men. Ooh, Baraka? Like the dude from Mortal Kombat? Retorts Duvall, his gruff voice conveying his contempt for them and their leader. It seems we both suffered at his hand. A month ago, he and his Vasagonian renegades ambushed my troop on the Roanan Pike. We were sorely outnumbered, and the fight was indeed bitter. But we broke free from them and escaped here to Roanan. We've been beleaguered ever since and praying for help to arrive. We have enough weapons to resist them, but we have barely enough food and water to survive. You ask what has become of the people of Roanan. Most are now slaves. Baraka has taken the mines, and he uses the Ruanese as forced labor. Other than yourself, only one man has escaped from the mines and survived. Oh, this is still his voice, sorry. And the bandit snipers. That man is Baron Orin Vaneland. Come, I shall take you to him. Genly, I don't know. I marked it down. I want to try it. I'm actually going to be playing it on stream in a couple of things. I think I actually am going to be finishing Uncharted 2. And then after I do Uncharted 2, I'm going to finish up Toonstruck, and then I'm going to do Lone Wolf HD Remastered. So I could see getting to that sometime in late July, early August, and you'll have a chance to see it and see for yourself whether you like it. So, where are we? Yes. Duvall leads you to the topmost chamber of the watchtower and pushes open an iron-shod door. The sight that greets you fills your heart with sorrow and pity. Orin Varnalund is the 15th Baron of Roanan, a noble warrior of royal lineage and fifth in succession to the throne of Sommerland. This once proud and chivalrous warlord now lies upon the cold stone floor of the chamber, red-eyed and whimpering like a frightened dog. He has lost everything, says Duval quietly. Barak has destroyed his castle, his land, his town, and his family. His sons are dead, and his only daughter has been taken captive by Baraka himself. I fear the ordeal has turned his mind. Well, that got dark. Look at the freaking crow, like, just looking at him.
Is this gonna be a Save the Princess plot?
I wonder. Now he's just like the first sorcery book. Crow's just like, caw! You're gonna use that head? Caw! The pathetic man raises his tear-stained face and with feeble voice mutters a curious rhyme over and over again. When a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Mockingjord shall rise. When a fair royal maid on the altar dies, the dead of Mockingjord shall rise. What's up, Annydale? I don't know. Save the Prince and Princess.
Is this a plot to, like, one of the Zelda games? Like, literally.
Pretty much. Isn't it like the plot to every Zelda game?
No, like specifically with the sacrifice. Yes,
yeah.
No, that's Ocarina of Time,
Ocarina
right?
of Time. Yep, you're right.
Yes.
I want to join Barak in overthrowing the feudal system. All right, if you possess a scroll, and we do. As you unfurl the scroll and begin to read its ominous contents, the Baron struggles to his feet. Word for word, he echoes the prophetic verse. When the full moon shines o'er the temple deep, a sacrifice will stir from sleep the legions of a long-forgotten lord. When a fair royal maid on the ardent altar dies, the dead of Mockingjord shall rise to claim their long-awaited reward. Can I just say that as opposed to some of the poems that I see in many of the game books that we do, it is so nice to see someone who vaguely understands syllables and scansion, so we don't get, when the full moon shines o'er the temple deep, a sacrifice will make things happen because that's good when we play around with rhythm like a Bruce Springsteen song, and then we go something like this because sleep. Like, I'm like, can you have any sense of rhythm at all? So good work, Joe Deaver, by actually understanding something about poetry. You must save her, lone wolf. You must prevent the sacrifice. The Baron's voice is choked with emotion. Let's go back up to that. Sorry. This Lone Wolf soundtrack is cool. It's just not long enough. You must prevent the sacrifice. Save who? Who must he save? Questions Captain Duval as he tries to calm the distressed Baron. My daughter, Madeline. Baraka has found the dagger of Vashna. He plans to sacrifice my daughter upon the altar of Makin to release the undead of Mockingjord. The Baron explains that during the age of the Black Moon, King Ulnar of Sommerland killed the mightiest of all the Dark Lords, Vashna, with the Sommersword, the Sword of the Sun, also known as the thing that is so awesome that it wins everything. His body and the bodies of all his soldiers were hurled into the bottomless abyss of Mockingjord. He plans to lead the dead to victory, first to conquer Sommerland, and then all of the last lands, he says in despair. Yeah, but at least it's consistent, Mirinda. Like, each stanza has the same scansion first to second line, which is a lot better than just sort of random abstract. So, no, I'm not saying it's great poetry. I just like that it's consistent poetry for a change. You stare at the Baron in stunned silence. If Baraka completes the sacrifice, all is lost. What mortal army can stand against a legion of the dead? Captain Duval ushers you from the chamber and closes the door. I feared he was insane, but your scroll confirms my worst nightmare. He speaks the truth. As the dreadful significance of the verse begins to sink in, your thoughts are broken by the shrill blast of a war horn. Captain Duval strides over to an arrow slit and peers out across the plain. As he turns to speak, you notice that his face is ashen gray. The bandits! They're launching an attack! If you possess Captain Duval's sword, and we do, you draw the sword and offer it to the captain. A look of surprise and delight crosses his face as he examines the blade. I never expected to see my trusty steel again. It is a good omen for the battle ahead. Thanking you, the captain sheathes his sword in its scabbard that until now is hung empty from his belt. All right, we have to erase that sword. Now we finally have room for another weapon. We've got our bone sword and the Sommersword. You follow Captain Duval as he hurries down the broad watchtower steps and out to the barricade, and as you save it, because we're past the Baron's part now, a rolling sound like distant thunder fills the air. Cavalry are pouring onto the plain from all sides, grouping up into battalions in preparation for the advance. Columns of foot soldiers in bright scarlet armor march through their ranks, heralding a frightened wall of people before them. They're Ruinese, cries Duval, his hand shielding the light from his eyes. At Kerr Baraka, he's using them as a shield. All around you, the captain's men have drawn their bowstrings, awaiting his signal to fire. But it is an order he dare not give. Suddenly, a hidden catapult hurls a massive black rock through the air, straight towards the barricade. You stare in horror as it bursts into flame and disintegrates, showering a rain of blazing oil on everyone beneath. The soldiers cannot evade the deluge, and many are badly burnt before the flames are smothered. A battle cry resounds from the enemy ranks, the signal to attack. The Ruinese are pushed aside and trampled by the onrush of scarlet warriors who now race towards the barricade. The blazing oil has scattered Duval's men, and the barricade is poorly defended. You hear Duval shout your name. Lone Wolf! Twitch chat! His cloak and tunic are ablaze, and he is screaming for your help. If you have reached the Kai rank of Warmarn, you possess 8 Kai disciplines. We have. You must rally the defenders or all is lost. By the way, I like that idea, the fact that if you are a high enough rank, you are given the option to then rally the troops yourself. It's one of the things that I really like about the way that they set up the books, is they really do take into account character progression to a greater extent than other character books, which I think is game books, which I think is neat. You must rally the defenders or all is lost. You order 2 soldiers to help the captain, then leap on an overturned wagon in order to see clearly the enemy advance. And you're right, Annydale, we do have the sword equivalent of a tactical nuke with us, so we're all good. They have already reached the ruined perimeter of Ruanan and are now creeping forward under cover of the broken cottage walls. You shout orders to Duval's men to defend the barricade, but the enemy are less than 100 yards from the wall. You were afraid it might be too late to repel their attack. The Vasagonian bandits break cover and charge, and you give the order to fire. A crowd of arrows sweeps down upon the armor-clad men, the hardened tips penetrating their scarlet plate. The first wave of assailants tumbles and falls. The second wave falters. Another volley forces them back, and they retreat to the ruins to reorganize themselves. Here and there, groups of bandit warriors have survived the hail of death and reach the barricade. Most are slain as they try to enter, but a small and determined section of their boldest fighters have broken through close to where you stand. Suddenly, a thick-bodied warrior with oily black hair tied in a knot at the back of his scarred head leaps into the wagon and attacks you. It's John Travolta, guys. It's Steven Seagal, 2018 version. All right, let's fight this guy, Vasagonian warrior. We have a combat skill of 12, plus 2 for Mind Blast is 14, plus 2 for the shield is 16, plus 8 for the Sommer Sword is 24, plus 2 for the Silver Helmet is 26. We have an 8 combat ratio bonus. That's what I like to see. Big number, big number, big number, big number. 3 is not a big number, game. Not a big number. Not a big number. Fortunately, we have a good enough number that we're only going to lose 2 points. We do 9 points of damage. However, I want to see a better score than this. I want to see a better score than this game. We only have 10 points of endurance. High number, high number, high number. 6. That's not bad. 6 is pretty good. 6 should do a lot of damage. Should do a lot of damage to us. He takes 12 points of damage. We take 1. That's pretty good. I'll take that. 1 more just like that would be lovely. Give me a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I totally agree, Mirinda. I really am so happy with how they made 7 cents. 2 is not a high number, game. Again, not a high number. We need to talk about the meaning of a high number. Oh, my goodness. However, we defeated him. Duval runs past the wagon, leading a dozen of his best swordsmen in a countercharge and driving the enemy all the way back to the barricade. None escape alive. Those who survive Duval's swordsmen are cut down on the plain by his archers as they run towards the ruins. The shout of victory has barely died away before you're faced by a new threat. They have a cave troll. No. A mantlet, a large shield on wheels. I also really... You know, Terry, I wondered what you thought about this just from your expert opinion as an artist. I really like the art style in these books. I understand that it's a particular kind of... I'm not saying that it's, going to make anyone forget about Picasso anytime soon, but, there's something about it that just feels very coherent to me and, clear. I don't know if I'm describing it properly. It works within the context of the book really well, I think. So.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Personally, I think it's because, all the tiny details with, the very thin lines and everything.
On the wood grain of the wood, for instance?
Yeah, on the wood grain. That kind of resembles... Oh, God, what's it called in English? We call those Kupferstich, which is copper...
Etching?
Yes,
or engraving?
I think...
Engraving?
I guess, when you print with, a copper plate, basically.
Yeah, engraving.
Which they used to do in the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it kind of looks like that. So yeah, that works.
Yeah,
very
I
well.
kind of like it. Filigree, Lucathea asks. I don't know if it's filigree.
I
think
have
like,
no idea.
Yeah, no, I think we're talking engravings that we're looking at. So, all right, a mantlet, a large shield on wheels, is being pushed slowly across the body-strewn battleground towards the barricade. What's up, Chaotix? How you doing, man? Arrow shafts soon bristle from its thick wooden planks as Duvall's men fire their bows time and time again in an attempt to hit the shielded foe. Suddenly, a robed figure darts from behind the mantlet and levels a black staff at the barricade. He is cut down by an arrow, but not before he is let loose from his staff a guttering ball of flame. Oh god. It cartwheels across the plain and explodes with a tremendous roar, hurling the bodies of defenders and shattered barricade high into the air. Through the cloud of dust and debris, you can see a line of enemy cavalry charging across the plain. They wear tall, plumed helmets of polished steel and breastplates of deepest crimson. In the wake of the fireball, they pour through the remains of the barricade and attack. They give no quarter. A horseman spurs his horse towards you, his lance leveled at your chest. So, do you wish to stand and fight the horseman, or run back to the watchtower? What should we do? Stand and fight. Are we even going to be able to get back if he's on a horse? I don't know if we could get back to the watchtower. On the other hand, we don't have a lot of, do not have a lot at the moment of hit points here, but right now our hit points, we're sitting at 7. Although we could actually chat, while you're answering, go ahead and make your vote, and then do you want us to use our Potion of Lomspur? Because we can use it at any time, and it would restore 4 endurance points. We probably should use it, right? So go, because we're sitting right now at 7. Where are we? Right here, 7 points. So we should probably heal, right? We've been relying on our healing skill, but that's only 1 point per entry that we're not in combat. So, so what do you guys think? So go ahead and make your official vote, and then also tell me, should we heal or not? Should we use our healing thing, which is this right here, Potion of Lomspur? All right, good night, good nap, Genly. Should we take our drugs of healing? The plot twist, the Sommer Sword Ascension, it's going to launch a coup and take over the kingdom. Listen, if the Sommer Sword decide to do that, it's all over. Okay, I think I agree with you guys. I think we're going to use this. Okay, now we're up to 11. I think that was a good call. I'm just
I wouldn't mind the Sommer Sword taking over the government. It would do a great job.
That's actually true. Because it's the Sommer Sword, it would be
Yes.
perfect at government. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, it would. Like, literally every citizen would be happy, genuinely happy, without brainwashing or anything.
Yeah, like Donald Trump comes up and tries to negotiate, and the Sommer Sword just like waves at him, and he's like, okay, I'll resign. You're right. And then he
Waves
leaves.
at him like the blade.
Yeah, like just, but like not threateningly, just like in the air. And then
No,
he's
I
like,
just
you're
like-
right. He immediately resigns and like leaves and turns himself in to be prosecuted, and Barack Obama returns as president. You know, like, I mean, all kinds of good things. Okay. Right. So let's see where we're at here. So we've got, I'm going to last call this. I agree with you guys. I feel like the fighting the horseman is the good call also, because I just feel like he's on horse. Like we just did this thing about like running. Plus we've got an arrow wound anyway in our leg. So poor horseman maybe has a family. Yeah. What about Mrs. Horseman? Y'all got any more of that Lomspur? I'm good for it, man. I'm good for it. Oh, man. All right. Let us close the poll. All right. Unanimously, we agree with standing and fighting. The horseman is charging at you very quickly. You will only be able to fight for 1 round of combat before the momentum of his attack carries him past you. So we have to lose more endurance points. He has to lose more endurance points than us in this round. So let's do it. Now we've got a 12. 2 for Mind Blast is 14. 2 for Shield is 16. 8 for the Sommer Sword is 24. And the Silver Helmet. So we've got a 6-point lead here. So this is classic sweep the leg right here. Sweep the leg. 6. That should be enough. Right. He has a horse, but we have the Sommer Sword. Exactly. exactly. Yeah, he lost 11 points. We lost 1. There you go, game. How's that sound? Your blow is unhorsed the bandit. He falls to the ground heavily, shattering his lance beneath him. He staggers to his feet, and raising the hinged eye shield of his helm, he stares at you and smiles wickedly, exposing a jagged line of blackened teeth. He spits his battle cry and runs towards you, unsheathing a broadsword as he closes in. If you wish to fight or evade combat. Oh, man. Okay, I better... This should not even be a question, what we do here. All right, do we fight the rat bastard, or do we run like a child? Okay, see you, Takanjia. I may have added that in a little bit. I may have made a slight editorializing of that as well. What? Lucathea, what? What? Exactly, any doubt. That is for my horseman. What? Chaotic neutral. This is why I don't allow chaotic neutral in my parties. Chaotic neutral would not want to be like, hey, check me out, I'm a nutso. You'd be like, don't hold me back. It's like Mad Max,
Are we
man.
doing this again?
You know what I'm saying? Like
chaotic neutral propaganda here.
The people who play chaotic neutral that are acceptable are the ones who don't play it as chaotic neutral. They're the ones who play it as something else, and they like to call it that because it's hipster. It's what the cool kids play.
So I'm a hipster, yes.
You're listen, I mean, you tell me.
Half of my characters are chaotic neutral.
You know,
it's
look,
like my go-to alignment because it's like one thing.
You're this hip cartoonist. You hang out like at comic conventions, like, you know, you're the new hip.
Cool people do read comics, right? Like all the cool people read comics.
That's right. You're one of those people listens to bands and you're like, yeah, this was awesome before they sold out, you know, that type of thing. Do you like coffee or tea? I'm just curious.
Tea.
Either? Neither?
I don't like I don't like coffee. It tastes disgusting.
What about tea?
I love tea.
Now, would you get tea if given a choice at a Starbucks or at a local mom and pop, you know, like small?
Starbucks is way overpriced. That's
what I
nothing
thought.
that tasty.
Good. Okay. So you would go to the mom and pop thing. That's good.
Yes, always.
Would you?
Well, I technically would probably go to the supermarket to buy the tea.
Okay, all right. See, the true hipster is trying to get tea at a supermarket. No, I'm kidding. That's not very hipster, actually. Accepting my influence in the election. All right, we're going to close this poll down. We're going to fight this rat bastard. This guy is a jackass. Screw this guy. All right, you're in combat with a Vasagonian horseman who's now on foot. You cannot evade him and must fight him to the death. That is how I like it. He's off his horse. We've got freaking... Maybe, Mirinda, maybe we've forgotten that we have the Sommersword. Let me introduce you to the Sommersword. Remember the Sommersword? The sword that does all things? It's a combat ratio of 9. 8! That's going to be insta-kill. 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 Where are we at? Where are we at, insta-kill? Oh, we not insta-kill, but he lost 18 points. We lost 0. Almost insta-kill. We might be able to two-shot this guy. Sorry. 3. That's not going to be as good. What's up, Kilobyte? Oh, there we go. Yeah, Terry is real life cool, so she can role play being a hipster. Okay, that's fair.
Wow.
But wow, maybe she accept that. Okay.
That reminds me of that one time I actually went with a friend to Starbucks because it was literally the only place where we could like get something caffeine holding.
Yep, and they were literally like, that'll be $12.
No, and it was like we looked at our closet and we were like, hey, together, like our outfit make up for one full hipster because I was like wearing a beanie and she was wearing a cardigan or something.
Yep.
It was like, yes, we like together we have the full outfit.
Together you actually match hipster life. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Lucathea taps the Sommersword. We didn't one-shot him. Is this thing broken? Yeah, we only two-shot him. All right, you run half-crouched to the barricade and prize a bow from the hand of a dead soldier. You have spotted the leader of the bandit cavalry, a tall, dark-skinned warrior with a thin, chiseled nose, rallying his horsemen at the foot of the stone watchtower. You look at him and start singing, "All along the watchtower." No. You know you must kill him before he can regroup his troops, or Duval and his hard-pressed men will be ridden down and mercilessly slaughtered. Got to kill this guy. You notch an arrow and draw back the bowstring. The straining cord bites into your fingers as you take aim. Now, we can pick a number for the random number table, but because we have the Kai Discipline of Weapon skill, we can add 2 to the number we have picked. I'm pretty sure we do have that. High number, high number, high number. 10! The top! Oh, wait. Actually, no, we don't want 10. That's bad. That's really bad. You release the shaft and it whistles towards the bandit leader. I got baited, chat. I got baited. I thought it was better than this. Thank you for the host, beautiful bear. Thanks, man. It's because the music stopped and I got thrown off. It was completely... That's completely what happened. I'm blaming the music, the lack of music that did that. Shoot. He sees its deadly approach and raises his polished steel shield. Your heart sinks as the arrow is turned aside. It shatters harmlessly against the watchtower wall. Before you can fire again, the bow is suddenly kicked from your grasp. You are confronted by an armored warrior. He stands above you on the barricade wall and you cannot evade his attack. You sheathed your weapon in order to use the bow, but unfortunately the warrior attacks before you can draw it to defend yourself. Therefore, you must deduct 4 points from your combat skill for the first 2 rounds of combat. Oh boy. If you're still alive by the 3rd round, you manage to unsheath your weapon and retaliate. Alright, so we've got a 14. Yeah, exactly, when you win. -4, that's 10. +2 for the shield. +2, 14. Oh, because we don't have the Sommersword? Oh, God. We're at -3 for the first 2 rounds. Oh, God. And we got a 1? Oh.
Is that good or bad?
That's very, very bad. Very bad.
I guess.
Ow. We're still alive, but not by much. We have 2 endurance points left. This is very bad. We're very badly burned. Oh, come on. We got 2 1s in a row. We're dead.
Rip.
God bless America. Lone Wolf, you have fallen. Maiden's blood shall be spilt, and Summerland ground to dust beneath Vashna's heel. God bless America, man.
America, man. I think his name is Captain America.
America. We needed Lompspur. Yeah. I know. We may need to... So here's the question as we go through this fight. So this is the... We're back up to the top of this combat because we hadn't done the giveaway now. So the question is, guys, we used one of these Lompspur potions. Actually, so let's do this because we did this last time. Never mind. So we're going to use that one. Now the question is, do we use the second Lompspur potion? So we used one already before. We have one more, which will give us +5. Do we use that or not? We also happen to have something that gives us more combat strength, which if I had been thinking, I would have done that, but I forgot to ask that. So, do we use the vial of red Lompspur or not? So right now we're sitting at 16 endurance points because of the other one. So, do we use that second potion of Lompspur or not? That's the question. Maybe you have more time to sluck with fire in the arrow? Well, yeah. Maybe. So what do you guys think? Yes or no on the Lompspur second potion? I'm not going to put a vote up for this. I'm just going to ask. Nay, got to be resourceful. All right. Got to be resourceful, so we save it. Kilbite says yes. Viking and Annydale says no. Winners use drugs. I'm going to say that's a yes. So 2 no's, 2 yeses. Lucathea says yes. 2 no's, 3 yeses. Anyone else? Stumpomatic says yes. 2 no's, 4 yeses. All right. Anybody else? Yes, no, yes, no. Maybe so. Karahim says yes. Okay. Looks like we are going to have that other one. All right. So we basically just down everything we've got. All right. So we're up to 21 endurance points. Well, we will see. I mean, the good news, at least now, is that, we're starting with a decent number. Also, we cleared out some space in our backpack, so. All right. We have healing, but it's only doing 1 point at a time is the problem, Dragon. The problem, Kilobite, unfortunately. All right, here we go. So let's fight the Vasagonian warriors. So we have to go through these fights again. There's a couple of these fights. Hopefully we can actually hit this dude with the arrow, like we're supposed to, so we don't even get into this battle. Okay, 6 with an 8 ratio is going to be a big help. 6 with an 8 ratio. 12 damage to them, 1 damage to us. That's what I like to see. All right. 1 more of those. 10, 10, 10, 10. 7. I'll take 7. That was better than last time. Alright, so far this combat's going better than what we had the last time. 14 damage to him, 0 to us. That kills him off. 2 shot him. Alright. Now Duval runs past the wagon, leaving a dozen of his best swordsmen in a countercharge, driving the enemy all the way back to the barricade. None escape alive. Those who survive Duval's swordsmen are cut down on the plain by his archers as they run towards the ruins, and the shout of victory has barely died away before you're faced by a new threat. So here is this mantlet. This is the shield on wheels. Now we've got the stand and fight the horseman thing. We're going to do the same thing because last time, fighting the horseman straight up, we were able to do what we need to do here. I'm going to save at this spot, though, because we did... This stuff is all stuff that we would do again in the same order if we needed to. So we're going to have a 6-point ratio over this guy again. And let's see if we're going to actually hit any of these. 8. That's pretty good. 8 should do some serious damage to this guy. In fact, it doesn't quite insta-kill him, but does a lot of damage, though. Alright. So we dehorse the guy, and now we fight him. Okay, so this, again, so far, this is just doing what we did the last time to get back to the same rough spot. Then we'll have to see what happens with the bandit guy, with the bandit chief. All right, we got a 9-point ratio, and we're in much better shape health-wise than we were last time. Still don't like that 3, though. Still not happy about 3s. 3s are not what we're looking for. Nonetheless, we still do 10 points of damage to him. Boy, we're so much better than him that even with a 3, we still do epically well against him. 10, that should insta-kill him. Yep, dead. Insta-killed, alright. Now we've got this guy. Okay, so now we're going to spot the leader of the bandit cavalry, a tall, dark-skinned warrior, thin, chiseled nose, rallying his horsemen at the foot of the stone watchtower. You know you must kill him before he can regroup his troops, or Duval and his hard-pressed men will be ridden down and mercilessly slaughtered. You notch an arrow and draw back the bowstring. The straining cord bites into your fingers as you take aim. All right, now this time, no zeros, please. Okay, a 4. Well, that's better than last time. You release the arrow and it whistles through the air and buries itself deeply into the mane-clad shoulder of the bandit leader. You hear a scream of pain ring out above the din of battle, but even though he is badly wounded, he still attempts to rally his men. You stoop to take another arrow, but to your horror, the dead soldier's quiver is empty. Looking up, you see 2 dismounted Vesagonian horsemen clambering across the barricade towards you. You throw down your bow and run to a large water cask defended by a stout sum-lending sergeant. The ground around the cask is carpeted with enemy dead. Shoot the leader, you command, pointing towards the enemy officer. The sergeant aims and fires his bow with one swift and fluid movement. The arrow arcs through the battle smoke and pierces the officer's shiny breastplate. Slowly, his cruel eyes flicker and close as he slips from the saddle, the shaft lodged deep in his heart. To me! To me! Captain Duval's voice booms out above the battle noise. Rally to me, some lending! Elves and men! Oh, my kinsfolk! No, it's not Thorin. He doesn't do that. It's the Sommer bow. Yeah, exactly. Anidel. The brave captain draws about him a shielded wedge of soldiers and charges into the flank of the horsemen. They reel and buckle as the shield wedge hews its way through their company. A Vesagonian herald, his crimson armor torn and his face smeared with blood, breaks free from the battle and sounds the retreat. You watch as the surviving bandits spur their mounts to the gallop, desperate to escape through the ragged hole in the barricade. Gripped by panic and fatigue, they ride through their own foot soldiers who are advancing to support them. The infantry falter and collapse as the cavalry ride them down. Captain Duval leads his men to the barricade and directs a lethal volley of arrows into the shattered infantry. It is the last straw. They throw down their weapons and flee from the clouds of arrows raining down on them from out of the smoke-filled sky. A battle cry, proud and strident, pursues them across the plain. For Sommerland! For Sommerland! See ya, Anidel. Alright, we finally did it. If I ever stream the original Pool of Radiance, I can consider you here. I have streamed it actually already, see both. I did a whole Pool of Radiance playthrough earlier this year, actually. And I ended up playing through almost all of it. I'm going to be playing through Curse of the Azure Bonds, but that is way down the line, I have to say, like a number of months, because I got a lot of other games to play first. But I have played it before, so, and do a lot of D&D in general, so yeah. Okay. You can find it on my YouTube channel if you want to see more, !ArvTube, because I have previous playthroughs of that game. All around the barricade, the enemy are retreating in disorder. Bandit warhorns announce the withdrawal, exhorting their defeated warriors to flee the battlefield. A jubilant Captain Duvall emerges from the war smoke, his eyes shining like jewels beneath the rim of his battered helmet. "We have triumphed, Lone Wolf! We have vanquished the foe!" All around you, the captain's men are rebuilding the barricade and tending to their wounded comrades. It sorrows you to see some lending dead, but you take heart at how few they are beside the enemy's losses. The captain ushers you to the watchtower where your wounds are cleaned and dressed with, guess what, Lompspur. The herbs restore 6 endurance points. Okay. "We've beaten this foe, but I fear that it is but a temporary reprieve," says the captain, his face now composed and somber. "The sacrifice of Baron Vanelon's daughter must be stopped if we are to avoid catastrophe, for our strength will not avail us against a foe freshly risen from the grave." The words of the verse flood into your mind, and a chill runs down your spine as you realize what may lie ahead. In 3 days' time, when the moon is full, Baraka will sacrifice the Baron's daughter at the buried temple of Makin, a sacrifice that will unleash the dead of Makin Gorge, the chasm of doom. You know you must prevent the sacrifice. 50 miles south of Ruanan, the ruined city of Makin teeters on the bridge of Makin Gorge. A cold sweat breaks out upon your brow as you contemplate the difficulty of your mission, for as you are separated from your goal by 50 miles of enemy-held territory. But there is still a flicker of hope. With the enemy in confusion and retreat, your chances of success will be far higher now than before battle. Before you set off on your perilous mission, Captain Duvall offers you the choice of the following equipment and provisions. Okay, so we can take this stuff. We can take the rope. We can take the potion of Lompspur. We can take 3 meals. Now, the only question is, folks, are we going to take... We have room for 1 extra weapon. We have the Summer Sword, obviously, and we have a Bone Sword. So do we take another sword, or do we take the spear? So that's the question. I'm not even going to put up a poll for this. Do we take up the... Oh, okay. Or we could actually take... Well, we'd have to drop something. We don't really have anything to drop. So, yeah. Basically, do we take the sword or the spear? Those are the choices. Sword or spear. This is the do you choose sword or spear music. What's up, Uncle Lice? Man, it's raining again outside. Feels like living in Seattle, man. Too much rain. How good is the sword? This sword, this Summer Sword, is ridiculous. Seaboth, like, there's a big joke about it. This sword is ridiculous. Like, if we ever lose this, I don't know what's going to happen. It's +8 combat strength against everything. It's ×2 damage against undead. There have been some times where the Summer Sword just, like, auto-1 against things. This is amazing. Now, this Bone Sword seems fine, but we haven't really had opportunity to use it. So these are basically backup weapons, as I see it. I mean, you could make an argument that since we already have 2 swords, we don't need yet another sword, and so therefore we should go with spear. So, but yeah. 3 swords is redundant. Yeah, exactly. You can always use the spear for firewood. Exactly.
You could do a Lorinor Zorro thing from One Piece, where you take like 1 sword in each hand and put like 1 in your mouth, basically, hold with your and fight with that.
Yeah, triple wield it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good call. All right, then you would also say spear. Okay. I think it sounds like more people are going with spear. I agree with that. Spear. All right. Cool. And let's do it. Dusk soon enshrouds the beleaguered outpost of Ruanan. Okay, so I'm going to save now because we're in pretty good shape health-wise. We have one of our Lompspur potions back, so we're good. Yeah, if exactly, like if we get the chance to sell it, we definitely could. Okay, see you, Stump. Thanks again, man, for the support. I really appreciate it, Stump. We'll see you soon. Dusk soon enshrouds the beleaguered outpost of Ruanan, and you use the cover of darkness to cross the body-strewn plain towards the south. An old highway trails off to Makin, but it is choked with Vasagonian warriors. They stand about in sullen groups, tending their wounded and brooding on their defeat. However, even demoralized and dejected, they are still a deadly foe. It will be too dangerous to risk passing through their ranks, so you must use the forest to conceal your passage. So the question is... do we venture through the trees to the right? Or pass through the trees to the link. No, just joking. To the left. To the left, to the left. What's it going to be, folks? So again, to be part of this, $ vote space and then the number of your choice. Either venture through the trees to the right or pass through the trees to the left. Beyonce, exactly, Kerflop. To the left, to the left. Wow. I'm digging that picture, Terry.
Thank you. Try to do something different.
Yeah, this is some cool. I love this sort of the shadowing effect that you're getting with off of his tunic as well, off his chest. It's cool. And the torch. What game is this? This, Kerflop, is Lone Wolf. This is Lone Wolf Book 4, The Chasm of Doom. This is using a program called Seventh Sense. That's the program that you see right there, which is not our program. It's an open source program that works really, really well. I really like this program a lot. We've played through Book 1. We were doing Fighting Fantasy books before this, but we've taken a pause because I love this system and because it just works really well in streaming. And then this is the proprietary thing that was made for me by my mod, who I haven't seen on here for months, Netawin, who made this ARVBot thing that allows us to have chat vote. So you can actually get in a vote for one of these two things. If you want to vote for venturing through the trees to the left, to the right, that is to say, you would do $ vote space and then number 1, because that's the first choice. Or $ vote space 2 is the choice that allows you to go through the trees to the left. Oh, definitely. The book is probably like 80... It probably is 30 years. It's probably 88, I would guess. This isn't Dark Souls. No, the true Dark Souls hasn't begun yet. Soon, Dark Souls will truly begin. Okay, I think did I last call it? I did not. Let's last call it here. All right. The only problem with this music, which I was really enjoying, is that there's not enough of it. Okay. All right, we're going to close this down just a second. And wait for it. And poll closed. All right. The original Wasteland. I have to be honest, Sabath, I'm not... Oh, you mean for soundtrack? Oh. That's not a bad... I'd have to double check that. I'm not a big Wasteland person. I don't... I didn't like Fallout either. I don't like post-apocalyptic stuff, really. It's not anything against those games. It's just, well, no, Fallout 1 I have something against because I'm still pissed off that I missed a point-blank thing at 99% shot. Like, anyway. No, but that's just me being bitter. No, I don't like post-apocalyptic stuff anyway, so it has to really, really, really be unbelievably amazing to get past that. It's just not my bag, that's all. I did actually play, though, Wasteland 2 over on my Pen and Pixels show that I stream over at GOG, which I'll be doing today, by the way, at 4 p.m. I'll be continuing my playthrough of Battletech. But I played Wasteland 2 over there for a while, and I liked it. It was just so long, and there was a certain point where I'm like, eh. So I kind of got tired of it. But I did play a while on Wasteland 2. Okay, so we are passing through the trees to the left. Yeah, just a tiny bit bitter. The forest is patrolled by bandits, but they take little interest in their guard duties and you find it easy to avoid them in the dark. Then, by chance, you come across a small log cabin hidden deep in the woods. A candle flickers at the window and the door is ajar. Do you wish to enter the hut or continue your mission? Hit the hut. It is a long game. Yeah. Again, it was like, it's not anything again. Like I was not objecting to the game. I thought the game was fine. It just was sort of, it didn't hold things together for me. Actually, before I started playing BattleTech, I was playing Divinity Original Sin 2 over in GOG, which is also a long game, and having a really good time with that. I was really having a blast with that. But then BattleTech came along, and I just have been having so much fun with that. When I finish BattleTech, though, I will return to Divinity Original Sin 2. Hello, Dynasty. Pizza the Hut. All right, 3 people have asked you to enter the hut. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people dig Fallout. I know. I just I also, like, the humor kind of falls flat for me. The humor is this whole, like, this gallows humor, basically, just kind of like, yep, well, the world came to an end, but haha, you can still walk across an irradiated landscape. Like, that's not my favorite kind of humor anyway. And so it's not my bag. Again, nothing against it personally. It's just me being like, blech, not digging it.
I'm the only person in my family who doesn't care for Fallout, and I always get shit for it.
Wow,
my brothers.
I'm amazed.
Yeah, like my brother, like all 3 of my older brothers are absolutely obsessed with Fallout. Then there's me, being obsessed with Baldur's Gate.
Well, you're right.
And Planescape.
You're the correct one.
Torment and stuff like that, and yeah. No.
Yep, these are all good. All of what you said is good. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, and it's even, I think also it has something to do, you can relate to this, I think, with the color palette as well. Like, I'm so tired of browns and grays.
Oh, yes, like, that was, like, one of the, oh god, what was it? Oh yeah, like the one real critique point I had about Tyranny is like the absolutely dull color palette for the most part, because like I don't mind like having a brown level every once in a while,
Right.
But like
the
aside
thing,
from like the spires and the dungeons, like the inside of those, like everything is brown.
Yep.
And then there's another shade of brown, and it's like, oh god damn it! Like the art
rust-colored.
direction is so good for this game. Otherwise, what's wrong with the color palette?
I'm totally with you. I like Tyranny too. In fact, the only and you know what's a good example of something which doesn't do that and which is still theoretically a bleak world. It's not apocalyptic, but it's dystopia. Is Shadowrun. Shadowrun is a dystopic world, but Shadowrun uses a color palette. Like if you look at the game designs,
it's like neon colors.
Yeah, but it's
that.
something.
It's
variety.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's like actual post-apocalyptic settings if we can like talk about other mediums here too, which is Nausicaa, if you know that one.
Right.
By Studio Ghibli.
Yep.
Well, I mean, not Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli won the thing yet. By Hayao Miyazaki. And like that is a post-apocalyptic story.
Yep.
And like, if you've seen that movie, like, damn.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's right. It's just, it's something that's so powerful. I think, in fact, frankly, as far as like other mediums are concerned, that's something which probably would have helped immeasurably the DC movies. I think if you didn't make Man of Steel, everything is muted. Like, come on. Like, I'm not saying it has to be cartoon color, like, but can we brighten it a bit? Like, just, it's so, ugh.
I mean, look at Wonder Woman. Like, that movie is set in World War I, it looks gorgeous nonetheless. Like, there's so much color going on and everything.
But like Batman versus Superman and like the Man of Steel is just like so like muted. Everything is
like, I mean, we can like talk for hours on end on what exactly is wrong with like the DC.
Yes, there are many
universe,
things.
Like,
agreed.
Ugh. So let's not just depresses me, because I'm a DC fangirl, so I'm like super pissed about the movies being so bad. Like, I mean, Wonder Woman is a wonderful
Wonder
movie.
Woman was great. Yeah.
Yes, but like everything else is just like.
I do have to point out, by the way, the one movie that was actually a female director was the one legit DC movie that they've had. Instead of going back to Zack Snyder retreads like 6 times over. Like.
So.
Yeah.
Destroying is done though.
Yay! Oh man, look at this. Chat. That is so good. I love that. It's super cool. So that's Lone Wolf, people, going through this. For those of you, by the way, who came in new, I am joined, as always, by my friend Terry Tunes, who does these things with me usually once a month, where she live illustrates as we go through this. So Terry is a very talented and hardworking cartoonist. and artist, and is going to be working with me hopefully on other things too. And if you want to know more about her, we will have links for her information and stuff at the end as well. So, all right, cool. That is a good one. All right, so now we have to think about. Well, we'll see who's in this hut. Maybe this dude in the hut will be a good one. I have no idea.
I actually wasn't really super paying attention to
what was going on at this point.
Yeah, because I was concentrating on the drawing. So.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So let's see. So we've got this doors ajar. It looks like everyone is entering the hut.
Oh, I know what I want to draw. Wasn't there like this rider guy with a chiseled nose going on?
Yeah. Did you see? Do you want me to? I don't know.
Yes. Can you like give me his description again?
Yes. Yes, I can. If I can get back to that. Hold on a second.
Because want to draw a different character for once. Like
okay.
No offense against our boy Lone Wolf here, but like
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to find where we went though.
I mean, I must say, Kaios Erebos was more fun to draw, and so was.
Yes.
What's her name again?
For the space one.
I'm thinking Jenna Jetstream, but that's a different character.
God, what was her name? If Echo was here, he would know because he was like. Shoot, I can't remember the name of the.
You know, Grace Jones, who's totally not.
Yeah, Grace Jones. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't remember her name.
God, what was her name? I forgot. But yeah, she was a lot of fun to draw. But yeah.
I can't find the guy. So he has this. Here, let me see if I can find the thing. Inspired. Took aim of the bandit leader. Okay, maybe I can find it this way.
Oh, if it's too much of a hassle to find like the character description again, then like
leader,
just
Chasm
don't.
of Doom. Okay.
Oh, hey, Dragonspear, while you say that, like, you still need to send me, like, what character you want me to draw.
Come on, Dragon,
Otherwise,
you gotta pick up these
that.
rewards, man.
Yeah, no, before I left for Erlang, I dropped him a message that, like, yeah, I'll be gone, like, for the week, but I'll get to it, like, when I get back. But yeah.
Okay, I got it. So
Need the info. So,
I'm gonna put this link, in. Okay, here we go. Here's the description. A tall, dark-skinned warrior with a thin, chiseled nose rallying his horsemen at the foot of the stone watchtower. And I could also send you what they had for the picture if you want. It's up to you.
Yes, please do.
All right. So, but I encourage you to. Okay, I just put a link in Zoom
Thank you.
chat. Yep. It's towards the very top of that list, like the first entry.
Okay, Dragonspear, just send me whenever. Okay, good. Then I'll get to that. But first, I need to But first, I do need to go AFK for a second. I'll
All
be
right.
back.
Sounds good. We shall continue with entering the hut, which is what actually won. The door slams shut, and you spin round to see a bandit leaping at you from the shadows. His head is a mass of bloodied bandages, but he is armed and determined to fight. All right? He fights you with his back to the door. Combat skill 13. That's amusing. We have a combat ratio bonus, people, of 13 plus. 13. 13. 13! Gonna chop him in half. Yeah, we are. Even with that 3, I don't think it's gonna matter. Even with that 3, we have a 13 ratio. Yeah. 11 points of damage, we take 2. Yeah, total coincidence, you are not Terry Toons. Dragon Spear is actually Terry Toons, confirmed. 4. These numbers have been terrible. Alright, 12 points of damage. Kaplow. You roll the dead bandit over with the toe of your boot and make a quick search of his body. You discover the following items. 3 gold crowns. So we got that. And then we've got a dagger or a sword. Now the question is, folks, we've already talked about the sword, so we're not gonna get the sword because we already took care of that. The question is, though, do we want to get the dagger to replace the bone sword or the spear? So do we want the dagger or not? Basically, yes or no. I'm not going to put up a poll for this. Yes or no, do we get the dagger? And if so, what do we replace? So yes dagger or no dagger? Because we've already got a bone sword, and we got the spear, and we got the Sommer sword. So yes or no. What's up, Tinas? Okay, Galadriel bot. Bone sword looks cool too. Look. Check that out. See? Carved from solid bone. Replace the Sommer Sword. We should do that. We should, like, the New Game Plus version of this, right? Like, the hardcore, the Iron Man mode, Nightmare mode, is where you just, like, drop the Sommer Sword. That's a good question, and I don't know the answer, Caro. I don't know. We haven't run into anything yet where we needed to use a weapon to do something other than fight, except for the Sommer Sword. But I don't honestly know. Stay bony, my friend. We melt down bone sword and spear and make a bone saw. Bone saw. It looks like we're good for that. What's up, Unjux? Okay. You may take any of the above items. Looks like we're going to skip the dagger then. As you're leaving, you notice a trapdoor in the floor. Opening it, you see that it leads down to the cellar of the building. All right. Do you wish to search the cellar or leave the hut? Now that we took down the owner of this place. Sounds like Star Wars, not Icewind Dale 2. Should make a hardcore ARV fan Lone Wolf module with Terry drawings. Yeah. That would be pretty awesome. Can you imagine? By the way, Terry, we may not have time for this, but there was a request from chat that was talking about the drawing the verse that, you know, you sacrifice the maiden and then the undead will rise from the mocking gorge.
Oh, okay.
So it was
how much more, for how much longer are we going to be on?
a little less than an hour.
I don't think I can do this today.
Okay.
But
maybe depending on whether we get through
next time.
Chasm, then next time we'll do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. Okay. So remind us, whoever asked for that, it might have been Lucathea. Remind us next time, Lucathea. Look at this. Look at the loot, people. Oh my God. Everyone's like, search the cellar, search the cellar. Obviously, search the cellar. Loot, loot, loot. I love you guys. You are so driven by the proper role-playing game ethics. This is how you do role-playing games. You loot. Yep. Loot. All right, I'm going to close the poll. It's pretty definitive, I think. All right, search the cellar. Oh no! You were at the bottom of the cellar ladder when the trapdoor slams shut and you hear a bolt slide across and lock. You hammer on the trapdoor, desperately trying to escape, but your captors cover the trapdoor with a heavy oak cask and keep guard in the room above. 4 days pass before the lock slides back, but the hands that open the trapdoor are bony and fleshless. Your life and your mission end here. Well, crap. Man. What? We're just trying to get loot. Man. How about that, huh? Here we were, just going for loot. Greed kills, I guess. Most of the time it doesn't. Exactly, no loot. Everyone just boos. This is terrible. Okay. Alright, the good news, though, is that we saved pretty close to this. So we'll fight the bandit, and this time we'll leave. None of this would have happened if we went right. You have chosen badly. Man, I can't even. Can't even. Alright, we're going to take down this wounded bandit, and then we're leaving. That's crazy talk. I was hoping for a secret tunnel to the bandits' hideout. I mean, I just assumed we weren't gonna like bed down there. We're not just gonna hang out. We just thought we were gonna go down and search. All right. So now we get the 3 gold crowns and we leave. Good grief. You quickly leave the hut far behind and press on through the trees. By morning, you have reached the edge of the forest. Staring out across the fields of tall crops, you see a small village lying at the base of a shadow valley. The fields are only separated by narrow tracks which are alive with flying insects hovering in swarms. You are walking along the track when you suddenly spot bandits ahead. They are wandering idly up the track towards you, their spears slung over their shoulders. Alright, if you possess an onyx medallion, we do not. But if you have the Kai discipline of camouflage and you have reached the Kai rank of guardian or higher, and we do, and we have, Lifting your feet high, you step into the tall crops, taking care to part them first with your hands. You allow the stalks to close again behind your back before you crouch down and hold your breath. You have completely vanished from sight. It is as if the stalks have never been disturbed. Yeah, I agree, Lucathea, exactly. The bandits amble past barely inches from where you hide, oblivious to your presence. When you are sure they have gone, you emerge from the crops and hurry away. You bypass a village with orange wood cabins and stone walls and climb through the tall fields towards a wooded ridge. Beyond the ridge, you enter thick forest and discover a bubbling freshwater stream. You drink deeply and realize how hungry you are. You must eat a meal here, and we have hunting, so we can use that, or lose 3 endurance points. So we have hunting, so we're good. I'm telling y'all it's camouflage. Telling y'all it's camouflage. As night falls, you reach the city of Makin. The gaunt, weed-infested ruins of the shattered city are spread like a vast graveyard and bathed in the eerie light of a near full moon. A sound fills the air like the wailing of lost souls, and it goes like this, TNS. I can't stand it. I know you're planning it. No, that's not what happens. It's not that sound. It is the cry of Makin Gorge. It has been nearly 2 days since you last slept, and fatigue begins to overwhelm you. Drawing your Kai cloak about your shoulders, you settle down to sleep. You will need all your strength for the daunting task that lies ahead. Dawn arrives, rain-swept and gloom-laden. A pall of drizzle hangs over the ghost city, and the gruesome discord of the wailing winds of Makin Gorge makes you feel uneasy. You watch and wait, your Kai cloak drawn close about your shoulders to keep out the chill, damp air. It was here, during the age of the Black Moon, that King Ulnar of Sommerland killed the mightiest of the Dark Lords, Lord Vashna. In mortal combat upon the very brink of the abyss, the Dark Lord was slain, and here, by the way, is Makin Gorge, right down here. The Dark Lord was slain by the Sommerswerd. It is said that his death cry when he fell will echo through the gorge until the day he rises to wreak his vengeance on Sommerland and the House of Ulnar. Your stomach contracts at the thought that this could be that very day. For 5 hours you observe and take in every detail of the ruined city. The first line of the strange verse keeps repeating itself in your mind. When the full moon shines o'er the temple deep. The temple must be underground, and there must be an entrance to it. But where? You study every crack in the broken ground and eliminate all but 2 possibilities. A crypt door guarded by 2 Vasigonian warriors, and a flight of marble steps descending into the earth between 2 columns of fractured pillars. So the question is, yeah, exactly, not in the hut. Do you wish to try to enter the temple through the guarded crypt door, or enter the temple via the unguarded marble stairs? Guarded marble stairs. Alright, and there we go. What's it going to be, people? Enter the temple through the guarded crypt door, or enter the temple through the unguarded marble stairs. So basically, the direct approach or the more stealthy-like approach. Vote 1, kicking in the door. All right, we are tied up at the moment, 2 and 2. Enter temple through the guarded crypt door or enter temple through the unguarded stairs. We are tied right now. So we'll need someone to break this tie. Vote 2, the trapdoor thing never happened. That was just a garbage, loot reversal thing that just, I mean, come on. Are these guys really that dangerous? Do you guys see, are these guys really a problem? Look at those dudes. But stealthy. I actually really like that shield. The dragon going after the star. I dig it. I can see the stealth. Any interest in Cultist Simulator? You know, it's funny you asked that, TNS. I was watching that yesterday being played by System Shock. System Shock. Yeah, Freudian slip. Kilgore played System Shock last night on GOG, but last time during the day, it was System Chalk who was doing a guest stream of Cultist Simulator with the devs. And I've got to be honest, it's the same guy who did Sunless Sea, and I think maybe did Sunless London, or I mean Fallen London as well. But I got to be honest, I just bounced right off it. I first of all, I have no idea what it was I was looking at. Like, what I saw was a bunch of cards and then a bunch of timers. And I'm like, what is this? Like, there was text, but they were racing through them. And then as I began to look at it more carefully, I'm like, it reminds me of, like, Papers, Please, but without the sort of continual interest in the story behind it. I mean, I guess you construct your own story, which obviously I'm in favor of with lore and stuff like that. Does not strike me as my kind of game at all, I don't think. I don't know. I've heard a lot of complaints about the UI of that game and other things, so I don't think so. I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't really say, but just having watched it, I was like, I don't know. Have you played it? Did you like it? We're gonna last call this. I mean, Darksaber played it, and he said that he thought of me when he was playing it. Yeah. He said he thought of me when he was playing it. The thing is, when you get farther on in that game, and there's just a billion cards, it kind of reminds me of like a timed version of Arkham Horror. And that's problematic on multiple levels, not least of which is I defy anyone to play Arkham Horror and actually get through the game not having made a mistake with it, because there's so many fiddly rules that you have to remember and stuff like that. What's up, Div? You can always change vote if you want, Div. So there's that. The other thing is, too, that I'm not a big Cthulhu guy. I don't love Cthulhu and the whole mythos and everything, so it's not really my bag. If it was not a cult thing, and if it was like, I don't know, like a fantasy, like a more pure fantasy version of it, that would be more appealing. But I still would, I don't like the, we give you zero information and we just hope that you figure it out on your own type of thing. So, yeah, I'm not Kerflop, and I know a lot of people, like my friend Will that Terry and I play with Encounter Roleplay, Will, every week. I know he's a big Cthulhu guy. A lot of other people I know and respect play it. It's not my bag. I think it's oversaturated, and also, frankly, I have a lot of problems with Lovecraft personally, mostly because he was a virulent racist who was not that great a writer either. I've talked about this guy before, but if you want to read a book that's really amazing, I will show it to you. Right here. William Hope Hodgson, The House on the Borderlands. This book is freaky as hell, depressing as hell, and much better written than Lovecraft. So if you're looking, and in fact, Lovecraft in some ways kind of like, how do I put it? I wouldn't say ripped it off, but like just, it's not rip off, but it's he's doing Lovecraft stuff better than Lovecraft did. I'll just say that.
Isn't that also the name of a D&D module, like a really old one?
That is Keep on the Borderlands. And that was my first ever module I ever played. And in fact, there's a module that just came out that's just released called Into the Borderlands, which is basically a 5e conversion of that. So
yeah, yes, that's why.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that. Yeah. No, that's cool too, but this is House on the Borderlands, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lucathea. Yeah. I know about separating the art from the artist, Kill, and I do that in some cases with some people. But then there's some people that I'm just like, I don't think they're good enough artists to overcome the fact that they're also lousy people. And I don't think Lovecraft is.
That is a great way to put it. I've never thought about it. Like, I always thought about it this way, but I never could put it into words.
Yeah,
I hate certain musicians, for example. I'm like, yeah, no, if you listen to them, then please don't talk to me.
Yeah. Not good
yeah,
enough.
no, that's it. Yeah, basically.
The author is William Hope Hodgson. This book, The Keep on the Borderlands, is legitimately frightening. Like, I also just don't particularly like scary stuff most of the time, but I did read this. It's not a long book. This is only about 186 pages. It's not very long, but it is freaky as hell. Very well done. There's another one too, which I have not read, but I've heard good things about. Let me see if I can find it. I can't find it right now. But there's a guy who wrote a book called The Purple Fog, I think is what it's called. I have the book somewhere, which is also interesting and also really freaky. Purple Fog.
Oh, hey, while you try to find that out, I could like put in like some product placement in here, I guess. Like for everybody who really like wants to like hear some history about like sci-fi writing and stuff like that. Extra credits on YouTube has been running a series on just that, where they talk about how the genre developed and like all the influential authors happened and what exactly they did differently. And they also dig into all the stuff like what Arv just mentioned about the like when some of the writers were like not exactly the best people. They also mentioned that, for example.
What is this, Terry? I missed the first part.
It is a series by the guys who do extra credits, I think, for their extra history series.
Okay.
History of Sci-Fi, I think is what it's called.
Oh,
you
very
should
cool.
be able to find it on YouTube. Like I have been sharing one or two of their videos on your Discord actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Like,
I remember
people over here might be into that.
Yeah. Div says it's extra sci-fi. Yeah, okay. A couple people
Extra
know that.
Sci-Fi, that's a series.
I gotta check that out. Yep, that's the one. William Hope Hodgson. That's it, Caro. I gotta find that. It's Purple something. I don't remember the name of it. Might be the Purple Cloud also. But anyway, I've heard good things about that. Also, while we're on the subject, I'll talk about that in a minute, Unjix. While we're on the subject, if we're gonna talk about the guy who is the most of sort of scary and everything else, the classic, and this guy was legitimately a genius, is Edgar Allan Poe. Like Edgar Allan Poe's command of the occult, his command of the frightening, and his ability to do so while actually writing with depth and metaphor is extraordinary. There is literally no modern horror without Edgar Allan Poe. Stephen King says it. A bunch of other horror writers say that you don't even exist as a genre without Edgar Allan Poe. And he was great, not just as a horror writer, but in fantasy and just in general terms of writing. And a lot of people know things like The Raven, which I read every year during Halloween, or, Cask of Amontillado or whatever. But he's a brilliant short story writer, one of the best short story writers in English, and was very good in terms of aspects of metaphor and imagery. We were talking about color before. If you read The Mask of the Red Death, his understanding of color during that sequence is amazing. Edgar Allan Poe is super legit. And Poe's life was not happy either. I mean, like, you want to talk about a guy who had a bizarre personal life, but still, I mean, super, super good. Yeah, Radio Play's doing Poe for sure. Yeah, I'll have to check out. I have heard good things about extra credits. I got to check it out. I know of it, but I have not really watched anything.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't, so I will
it's
check
like
it out.
One of my favorite YouTube channels.
No, that's
like,
cool. I will
overall.
check it out. No, I will check it out. That's awesome. And Unjix, yes, I on my podcast Speculate, Kilobyte knows about this, so if I can do a quick plug for my own podcast. Speculate, which I run with Michael Underwood. You guys know Turbo Tango on here. Mike and I have been running that, and that podcast is now in its 9th year of production. And we interviewed a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Laird Barron and John Horner Jacobs, who some of you might know. And Laird Barron's a very good short story writer also, and very much in that Cthulhu mythos. Also within that world, Elizabeth Bear wrote a book called, a short story called Shoggoths in Bloom, which is a very good Cthulhu-driven thing. Again, if you like Cthulhu, which I don't particularly, but if you do, that's the way to go. Cool. Thank you, Kilobyte. Now, while we're on the subject of things that are cool, it would be cool if we could break this tie. Right now, we have a tie. Enter temple through guarded crystal, and then enter temple through unguarded temples. Caro, I think it's M.R. James is the one I was thinking about. I think it was M.R. James. Let me take a look. No, it's not. It's not James. I can't remember the name of the guy who did this purple fog thing. But anyway, yeah, but M.R. James I've heard good things about, for sure. Okay, so we are going to enter the temple through the guarded crypt door. Okay, here we go. You manage to reach a tangle of briars growing near the crypt door, and from here you can observe the Vasagonian guards undetected. More soldiers appear on horseback, riding into Machen from the north. They dismount and approach the door. "Password!" shout the crypt guards. "Loan," reply the soldiers. The door opens and they are allowed to enter. Armed with the password, you decide to try to enter in the same way. Keeping the hood of your cloak raised and your psalm-lending features in shadow, you walk boldly towards the guards. Pick a number from the random number table. If you have the Kai discipline of camouflage, add 4 to the number you've picked. And we do have that. So we're looking for a 3, folks. We need a 3 or higher. We need a 3 or higher. 3 or higher. 3 or higher. 6! That will be just fine. So we're talking about a 9. Alrighty. Your bravado is paid off. The guards accept the password and allow you to enter the crypt. As the stone door is drawn shut, you find yourself in a wide torchlight corridor heading towards the east. There's a voice actor here who does rehearsed readings of M.R. James stories, usually in old spooky locations. Nice, Caro. The corridor ends at a flight of steps that descends 100 feet into the earth. At the bottom, a short passage leads to a junction where a tunnel runs from north to south. To the north, you can see a torchlit cavern with what appear to be observation slits carved into the wall. To the south, a passage leads towards a low balcony. So the question is, what should we do? Do we investigate the torchlit cavern? Or take a look over the low balcony. Having the hotkey, my stream deck that I have now, having this hotkey thing has made this a lot easier to be able to pull up things and drop things down quite a bit. You know, I don't know if this is of interest to you at all, Terry, but at some point in the future, the Stream Deck can also be configured just basically to run a bunch of hotkeys. So I don't know if that's ever something that might be of value, but I was just thinking about in an art program like that, if you could have a bunch of hardware hotkeys as opposed to software stuff. I don't know if that's valuable or not, but...
well, I barely stream on my own, so...
No, but not just for streaming. I meant, like, this is the kind of thing that could literally open aspects of the program, not just an OBS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, most art programs come along with hotkeys anyway, if I'm understanding what you're getting at.
But, like, hardware ones? Like, so, in other words, having the actual, like, physical, you press the button and it does it, as opposed to taking the mouse and, you know, moving it to wherever.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I mean, Control-Z is, like, the most obvious example, you know. Which
Okay.
is, like, the one hotkey no artist can ever live with.
It's Control-Z.
Yes.
That's true. What is up, Ashera?
But otherwise, like, Control-T, for example, is the one I also use very frequently for, like, wait, I'm just, like, gonna demonstrate it. Bam.
Okay.
It's Control-T. Well, you guys can't see, like, the thing because on the separate window, but boom, that's what that does.
Okay. So this button would basically mean it wouldn't be, it would, like, you could do the Control-Z by just pressing a button. Yes. Okay, I was just curious. May not be necessary.
You can also, like, bind certain functions to, like, the tablet key, like, if you have buttons on your tablet, you can bind certain things to them, or, like, I have two buttons on my pen, for example, that I can use for different stuff, like, the first one is for moving the canvas around, and the second one is for color picking. So. Oh,
yes. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. So, Ashera, we're going to be on here for about another roughly 20 minutes or so, Ashera. But once we're done, can you stick around, Ashera, so I can read you your character background? Because if you can do that, I can read it. That will get me to end of 3:30, because I would love to be able to share this with you so I can send it to you. Cool. All right, so you guys are going to get a chance to hear my other character background. I did one for Genli, as you folks know, but I have one for Ashera as well for her character that she did in the world of Starfinder. So that'll be cool. Lovely. I'm glad, so we'll be able to do that. Okay, so last call, taking a look over the low balcony or investigating the torchlit cavern. And welcome to everybody, by the way. You are watching Lone Wolf, Book 4, The Chasm of Doom, as we play through this together. And I am joined, as usual on these events, by Terry Toons, who is doing the cartooning and the artistry, and has already done a couple of really awesome drawings today, and is doing another one of this bandit leader, who at the moment, just in the middle of her sketch, looks a little bit like Iron Man. just because of the front kind of circle. All of a sudden, I had this image of him as Iron Man. And soon he will just be a bandit that is about to be killed by Lone Wolf. But I am very happy to have her with us. And if you like what you see in here, please make sure to follow the channel, support the Patreon, sub to the channel, do all that good stuff. And please also make sure to check out Terry's work, and you will hear in about 15-20 minutes about the details of that, where you can support her. Okay, and I think that is going to do it for that vote. We're going to close the poll, and we're going to take a look over the low balcony. Let us do it. An empty feeling grips your stomach as you stare upon the altar and inner sanctum of the subterranean temple. Your Kai senses burn as if every nerve in your body is screaming a warning to flee from this evil chamber. Huge braziers of molten metal encircle a black altar upon which lies fair Madeline, the daughter of Baron Vaneland. She seems to be entranced. Her breathing is slow and shallow. Beyond the altar lie two massive doors, a gigantic skull engraved upon their black stone surface. Out of your view, another door opens, and a procession of red-cloaked priests enter the temple. What's up, Geronimo? Hello, Elinia. Their heads are covered, and they each carry strange amulets of black stone. They file past the... All right, cool. See you, Unjix. They file past the altar, depositing the amulets in a circle around the young girl's body, and then file out again in total silence. Then you hear the sound of a distant drumbeat. It grows louder and nearer. The measured steps of steel-shod boots resound in its wake. Baraka is approaching. Baraka? Baraka carries the stench of death and decay about him. He strides into the temple, his boots of Gorgaz hide covering both legs and feet, and slams shut the huge stone door with frightening ease. He stands in silence before pushing open the huge black doors engraved with the menacing skulls. Suddenly a gale-force wind sweeps through the temple, and your ears are filled by a terrible scream. Beyond the open doors, a pier of stone juts into the abyss of Machengorge. You are staring into the chasm of doom. Baraka turns away from the wind-swept pier and walks slowly towards the altar. From a hidden dagger. From a hidden scabbard, he removes a twisted black dagger and holds its stiletto blade to the light. An evil blue flame runs up and down the black steel spike, flickering in the ice-cold winds of Machengorge. The sacrifice is about to begin. So, do you wish to draw your weapon and attack Baraka, or distract his attention from the altar without attacking him? So, what should we do? Draw. Or distract attention without attacking. It is dramatic. Madelon, this is the weirdest music festival I've ever been to. And my thoughts on this are that I'm a little worried about attacking him openly just because he's in front of a bunch of cultists. I don't know whether it's possible to distract him or not. And of course, we're now well beyond, I only ever played through, I think, book 3. So I never played book 4. So this is all new to me also. So I'm not sure.
So how much time did you say we have left?
Now I would say we have about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, then I'm gonna have to speed this one.
Those red priests are probably up to no good. Well, I would think not, yes. In fact, if anyone watched the conclusion of The Rise of Tiamat, we all know that red-robed priests or red-robed wizards are not up to any good, usually. Most of the time. Also, I mentioned, by the way, on Friday that my band is playing a gig in New York City. If anyone is in New York, we're playing a show at 5:30 p.m. Eastern at the Delancey. There may or may not be a stream Friday night. I don't know. It depends on when I get back and all that stuff. I'll try to also stream live from the event, but again, not sure if that will happen or not. We'll see. Saturday, there will be a stream of Esper Genesis, and I'm going to make an announcement during Esper Genesis about one is a special D&D related, or at least role-playing related thing which I'm excited about. And the other is an announcement about the lineup for the Curse of Strahd. So we'll be announcing people that will be in the Curse of Strahd. That is happening on Saturday. That is going to be the next campaign for Infinity and Beyond. That is not going to start until July, in all likelihood, Curse of Strahd, although we may do character creation in June. But the Curse of Strahd will start officially in terms of play in July. So that's the deal with that. I am excited. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about too, Lucathea, and I don't know. Like, I feel like this is the iconic thing, right? Like, you're looking at the sacrifice, there's a bunch of cultists, and you're like, do I attack the guy, or do I go after him? Like, this is, you know... And we will close the poll. All right. So, we are going to distract him. Let's see how it works. Hold your blade, Baraka. Her life is not yours for the taking. Oh, Jesus. That's how you distract him? Good God. Good job, Lone Wolf. I'm going to distract him by yelling at him. Your words ring out above the howling wind. The renegade noble turns to face you, his laugh as piercing as your command. He advances towards you, the flame-licked dagger held high in his mailed fist. You draw your weapon and enter the temple. Do you wish to enter into combat with this warrior lord, or do you wish to try to free Madeline? Oh, man. Sorry about that, Kerflop. We lost the element of surprise, I know. Okay, so enter into combat. Warrior Lord. Or do we want to free Willie? No, I mean, free Madeline. Look at the... Okay, so what's it going to be? Are we going to try to free her? Vote 1, she's fine. Well, the thing I don't know is, like, if we try to free her, how do we do that with the warrior on top of us? But then on the other hand, if we try to do that and then someone else kills her, I don't know. I have no idea. I'd like to do both. Can we fight him while also free her? Like, one amazing sword, you know, sword slash cuts the ropes on her bonds and also, like, hits Baraka. Like, to me, that feels... We're Lone Wolf, damn it. We're a Kai Lord. Whatever. Can't we just, like, wave our Summer Sword and insta-win? Isn't that how it works? We, like, throw the Summer Sword towards Madeline. It automatically, like, cuts her bonds, then comes back and, like, stabs the dude in the heart. He has the sacrifice MacGuffin, just focus fire. It should be the Errol Flynn moment, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm digging this music for this. This is the Chasm of Doom music. Also sounds vaguely like Star Wars. Alright, we're gonna last call this. Alright. And let's close the poll. I realized I never put this up there, sorry. Gotta remember to do that. So now we're going to close the poll. We'll try to free Madeline. You circle the temple, keeping just out of reach of the blue flame dagger. Baraka unleashes a scimitar with his free hand, cutting the air about your head with its mirror-like steel, but drawing no blood. If we possess a flask of holy water, which we don't. You were in combat with Baraka, renegade noble of Vasagonia. You cannot evade the combat and must fight to the death. He is a formidable warrior who possesses great strength of will, and he is immune to Mind Blast. Well, crap. Now, this time I'm going to remember. So we have a combat skill 25, endurance 29. So without Mind Blast, that means we only have a combat skill of 24. So here is the question. I know, right, TNS? That's what it feels like. Here's the thing, though. 24. But we do have this that we've been saving. This vial of distilled alether, which gives us +4 combat skill. So now seems like the logical time to use it, right? Should we use this? Because this will give us a 28 combat strength to his 25, or no, 29 combat strength. This seems like the time, right? Like, we've been using drugs this whole adventure. Shouldn't we be doing that this time? You guys know what I'm saying? Because what are we saving it for? Like, this is the boss, I feel like.
Or is it?
Or is it the boss? It's actually Madeline. She's
like, that would be a great twist.
Oh, man. Leroy Jenkins. What if there are bigger bosses? Okay, yeah, DNS. It looks like most people are in favor of doing this. I don't know. It just seems like a good time. All right. Here we go. +4 for the vial of distilled ether. +2 for the shield. +8 for the Sommersword. +2 for the silver helmet. 28 to 25 over Baraka. Let's start with a high score. 2 is not a high score, game. Not a high score. Have not been pleased with the random numbers. Still, though, we did 6 points of damage to him. We only took 3 ourselves. All right, let's keep going. Let me see that high number. Let me see that 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Bring it down. 10. Not 1. Not 1. 1 is not the number. That's actually the opposite number. That's the worst number we could have. We still did more damage to him, but this is still really bad. We do not want 1. 1 is part of 10. Yeah, exactly. Not a 10. We want 10. 10, 10, 10. Okay, 5. That's better. That's half of 10. 5 is better. Okay, he does 9. We do 9 damage to him. We take 2 ourselves. Come on. Come on, you can do it. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. 10! Success! It only took a few rounds. Took 4 rounds for the game to hear me. 10. 16 points of damage. Wablow! We have won the combat. Suck it. As Baraka dies, the wind suddenly rises in pitch and intensity, filling the temple with a mournful cry of despair. You feel the chill, malevolent spirit of Dark Lord Vashna engulfing you in an icy embrace, but you sense that he is powerless to harm you. The sacrifice has been foiled. He is doomed to lament for a victory that might have been. Thank God we had that potion, though. Lying on the black temple floor is the dagger of Vashna. As you pick it up and tuck it into your belt, mark this on your action chart as a special item. Ooh. The evil blue flame flickers and dies. As long as you possess this evil blade, Dark Lord Vashna and his legion of dead warriors will remain imprisoned in the Chasm of Doom. You free fair Madeline from the altar and carry her through the corridors of the temple that lead up to the surface. As you emerge into the moonlit ruins, an astounding sight greets your eyes. Baraka's warriors are running from the ghost city in all directions, closely pursued by an army of cavalrymen. The light of the full moon and the guttering torches that these horsemen carry illuminates the sun crest that bedecks their tunics. Word must have reached Holmgard, for they are the psalm-lending army led by King Ulnar himself. Your countrymen praise you for courage and daring, their strident cheers drowning the cry of Machengorge, for once again you have proved yourself a true hero of Sommerland. As you deliver Madeline into the waiting arms of her father, her overwhelming joy fills you with a sense of great achievement. You are indeed worthy of the title Kai Lord. You have succeeded in your perilous quest, but the epic saga of Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords, is far from complete. A new and deadly challenge awaits you in Book 5 of the Lone Wolf series entitled Shadow on the Sand. We did it, guys! Victory! Woo! Listen to that music, too. Woot! Wow, that actually ended faster than I thought. So the Sommersword would not have saved us if we had not saved that potion, actually, because we would have been at a disadvantage. We could have pulled it out, but it would have been tough. Nice. All right, so let me see. I just want to make sure that I have the... Oh, I have to download it. Okay. So let's save this here. All right, so I'm going to have to download the next book. The next book is called Shadow on the Sand, and we will be doing that next time, but we will not, however, be doing it now. Okay, this is actually good because what this means is that we can actually use this. We can actually use this because Terry's got her drawing to finish. So we will let her draw for another like 15 minutes while I read a Share His story. So that'll be perfect. You got 15 minutes, Terry? Is that good?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. So
I'm free all night. But
okay, so 15 should do it for us. So chat, do not, first of all, congratulations, Chasm of Doom. I just want to check in with chat. Now, I love the Fighting Fantasy game books, and we will return to them again in the future, but I just want to ask, I feel like the Lone Wolf series has been even more successful, largely because of the Seventh Sense books. Chat, are you feeling good about these books? Because I've really been having a good time with it. I mean, I know Lone Wolf is just one guy, but I'm just curious if you guys have been enjoying it, because I've been having a blast with it myself. So
Can I give my 2 cents?
yes, go ahead and give your 2 cents.
Okay, yeah, like basically, so I kind of miss being able to design the character by myself.
Yes.
Like that's like my issue with this, that like the character always looks the same and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, I do miss that aspect.
That's totally fair. That is totally reasonable. Here for the first time, but this book wasn't quite as good as book 3. I do agree with that, Lucathea. This was not as good. I agree. I liked it, but it was not as good as Caverns of Kalta. So what we might do then to sort of accommodate, because I agree with Terry that that's a concern, I would say, why don't we do this? We should probably, I think maybe alternating might be a good idea. So what we might want to do is, I think we might do one more of these, basically do book 5. Then we will go back to Fighting Fantasy, because the next Fighting Fantasy book is, let me see, it's,
I mean, we could like play a completely different thing altogether. That would also work for me anyway.
right, that's true too.
Also, like one thing I noted with these books is that the stories themselves tend to be kind of, you know, this time it was like, go save the girl, you know.
Yeah, this was more straight ahead. Yeah, you're right.
Like the nice thing was like Star Strider, for example, was that like the story was kind of like a bit more out there, you know.
I agree. And that's Lucathea makes a good point that book 5 is a good break point because it's an end of the original series. So I think what we will do is, so we're going to do one more. We'll do the Lone Wolf book 5. Then what we'll do is we'll go back to Fighting Fantasy, and maybe we'll do Phantoms of Fear, which is book 28, where you have like a lot of it is done in the dream world. So that's kind of a cool, different thing. And then book 29, which I have somewhere. Yeah, book 29 is Midnight Rogue. So in book 29, you actually play a thief. And like Thieves Guild type stuff. So I think that's what we'll do. I think this is thank you for doing that, Terry, because that's good feedback. So what we can do is we'll do book 5 of Lone Wolf, and then we will do 29 and 30. Book 28 and 29, which is Phantoms of Fear, and then Midnight Rogue, and then we'll go back and do a couple of Lone Wolf books, and then we'll do Fighting Fantasy. So we'll go back and forth instead of just doing like a billion Lone Wolf books at once.
Okay.
Although that said, I would like to encourage Tin Man Games to hurry the hell up on their program. They just released Fighting Fantasy Legends, which I just got some press build codes for, but it only goes the first 9 books, and we're up to book 28. So I just love how easy it is to stream Lone Wolf. That's one of the reasons that I like it. So
I see.
Phantoms of Fear, yeah, but that's a good call though. That's a good call. I like it. So we will do that. So does that work, Terry? So book 5 of Lone Wolf, and then we'll go
like at the end it's your decision. Like either one works for me. I'm just saying, like also like the drawings do tend to get a bit more boring. I noticed. Like kind of
Yes, I would agree with that. This was definitely more straight ahead. Okay, cool. Yep, I like it. So we'll deal. Yeah, there's more unusual stuff.
I mean, I already mentioned a bunch of times. I wouldn't mind doing something like D&D based, just so that I can put all out my lore knowledge and put in all those like visual things.
The only issue with that is the streaming of it, but I like, because it's not as easy for me to stream it. But like we could definitely do, because I do have like some of the. I also have like a couple like not D&D ones, but I have like the Way of the Tiger, which is a pretty well known like. That was like straight ninja, like complete ninja like stuff.
Also, I did mention like some like literally month ago, like over half a year ago or so, that like I used to play some DSA. TDE, the Dark Eye based solo adventures as a kid.
But do they have English translations though?
Yes, we did check that. Like the new ones did get translations. Sadly, not the one I played as a kid, because I would have really liked to do that one. That would have been nice. That doesn't have a translation, sadly. But yeah.
Well, we could do that too. All right, so we'll we'll talk about that. We'll do Lone Wolf book 5, and then we'll think about maybe we might do the Dark Eye one, or we might do Phantoms of Fear. So we'll talk about that. That's a good call. Okay. So while Terry is finishing up the drawing on this, and yes, I meant Fighting Fantasy Classics, yeah, Kilobyte. The digital books that we've been playing, you can actually get online at a place called, if you go to, the program is called Seventh Sense, and I believe it's Project Aeon, A-E-O-N. And if you go to projectaeon.com or something, if you do a Google search, you'll find it. You can go there, and they have a bunch of these books available that you can play, which Joe Deaver gave his permission before he passed away for people to do that. So that's really cool. And then as far as the Steam thing is concerned, the digital books from Tin Man Games, the Fighting Fantasy Classics, that I haven't had a chance to even try those at all yet. So I'm going to see what that's like. But yeah, thank you. Oh, just AON, not AOEN. Okay. So I'm going to read this while Terry's finishing up. So this is for Starfinder. This is a series from Starfinder, and it is done by Ashera, who was with us in chat. She sent us this, and this was supposed to be a Vesk Solarian. If you do a quick search, you'll be able to find out, a Google search, you'll find out what a Vesk is and what a Solarian is, and if not, you'll hopefully get a sense of it from the way that I described this character. So she sent me this, and here we go. And this is a Patreon reward, remember, folks. So you can get this if you contribute to the Patreon at a certain level. You can get something just like this. The name is Yelena Maris Sun Eater. That's Ylenamaris, Sun Eater, Vesk Solarian. It came down to this. Faris Shulk should never have bet on the third race. He had known this. Every gambler worth his sheet knows you don't chase credits, especially when you're down 2,000 to begin with. But there's no way the red coal loses here. That was what Benno had whispered, that Yosoki vermin. And when the red coal had not only lost, but come in last, Benno was nowhere to be found. The only ones in the booth were Syndic's Guild thugs, blasters pointed at his head. That would have been it for him, if not for a fortunately timed gravity shift that threw the heavies on their backs and gave Ferris the chance to run. Run he did, and he hadn't stopped running since, not until he bribed or stole or smuggled his way onto any freighter or transport he could find heading to the edge of the Packed Worlds. And he got there all right. Ferris knew there were places beyond the Packed Worlds, but somehow it seemed hard to believe it here, in a seedy cantina he'd purchased with the last of his credits when he'd stumbled off a broken-down ship in the Night Arch spaceport and wandered down a few tunnels, spat on and pushed around by the drow prospectors, until he found this settlement. He'd gotten lucky on that score, actually. Drow hated half-orcs as much as they hated everything else, but they needed a bartender after their last one had died in a mining accident, and gods knew it was beneath them to pour drinks themselves. Ferris had offered his services, and they had taken them. Maybe. They hadn't killed or enslaved him anyway, and they mostly paid for their drinks, so it was close enough. So here Ferris was, in a gods-forsaken settlement on Aposte, as far as he could get from anything that mattered. Somehow he didn't feel lucky about any of it, though, looking around the interior of the cantina as he stood behind the bar. A few drow miners were talking with each other at one table. They'd been at it for hours and hadn't paid for the drinks they'd bought yet, while an orc was sitting at another, slumped over and snoring loudly next to his spilled drink. He'd paid, at least, though he couldn't afford even half of the cost the drow could. Ferris sighed deeply. Yes, he'd escaped with his life, but at the cost of everything else. Might have been better just to let the Syndic's Guild waste him the first time around instead of this, slow death from boredom at the edge of the universe. Oros, the god of change, had quite a sense of humor to send him here, even if he didn't think the joke was funny. Suddenly the doors slid open. Unevenly, they hadn't worked in sync since a drunk half-orc stumbled into them one night when he suddenly decided to go back in right after leaving. And in came a large figure. More than large. Enormous, almost 7 feet tall at least, muscled and scaled arms and legs visible outside of the armor suit the creature was wearing. Ferris let his gaze drift to the creature's face, red-green scales overlaying a fierce expression and set off by a set of short horns on its head, and he felt his stomach sink. Stasis and hold, he swore to himself. A god's damned Vesk. The Vesk stopped just inside the door and glanced around, baleful yellow eyes taking in the surroundings. Probably a female, judging from the brighter colors on the scales, but it hardly mattered. The females were just as much a problem as the males if they decided that... Barskursk! The Vesk suddenly hissed, before the translation module at its belt kicked in. Bartender. Stasis, Ferris thought again. That's it, then. That's me, he said as nonchalantly as he could manage. The Vesk glared at him, then strode straight ahead. Ferris only had time to take one faltering step back before the reptilian beast had reached the bar and stopped, staring down at him. What can I do for you? He managed after a moment. Frigus. And then immediately, as the translation module did its work, food. Yes, Ferris said. What kind of food? I've got Farnell sticks and one of the best coast burgers you'll ever... Spicy, came the translation as the Vesk's nostrils flared. Spicy. Yes, we don't get much spice here in the Outworlds. I don't... Spicy, the Vesk said again, leaning in so Ferris could feel the heat of her breath as she exhaled. Yes, right, sure. Give me a second, he stammered, then took a few steps back before turning and practically running into the back, which he optimistically termed a kitchen. In truth, it wasn't a whole lot more than a counter on which sat a heating porta unit powered by microtritium, but it was generally more than enough for the generally small number of customers who came in looking for food. He threw a Kolstberger in and set the timer to his cycle, then opened the storage chest on the floor, hoping he had forgotten about something. But no, the few spices he had in the chest barely counted as food, let alone hot ones to please the palate. He was pretty confident in his burgers, but spicy? On a paste? Not for the first time, Ferris swore at himself for not having invested enough money to build a back door out of the kitchen. The porta unit beeped quietly, and Ferris opened it to find the Kolstberger ready, steam rising from the surface of the meat. But spice? Suddenly, Ferris's searching gaze fell on a small bottle on the far end of the counter. Quazzle, he muttered to himself. This was an incredibly stupid idea. Quazzle was basically a pungent incense, cheap and long-lasting. He had taken this bottle from one of the freighters he had first found when his flight began, thinking he could sell it to someone living on the outskirts of the Packed Worlds, desperate for some interior culture. But no one was interested in purchasing much of anything from him until he got here, and then only of the food and drink variety. Quazzle was neither. But it was strong, and probably not fatal. Suddenly, Ferris heard a loud thump from the main room of the cantina, as if something had hit the surface of the bar really hard, and with another curse he opened the bottle of Quazzle and sprinkled some of its contents onto the burger before bringing the steaming plate with him out of the kitchen. The Vesk was still there, leaning on the bar with one massive elbow as she faced away, but as he entered the room she turned sharply back towards him. Here you go, Ferris said with a smile as bright as a half-orc could muster, hoping she didn't think he was trying to kiss up. Vesks weren't wild about, well, anyone not a Vesk to begin with, and sometimes not even then. But they especially weren't wild about creatures trying to sweet-talk them. And out here, without any friends or authorities to back him up, the Vesk snatched the plate from him and picked up the Kolstberger. She opened her mouth impossibly wide, Ferris did his best not to flinch, and swallowed the burger whole. Her eyes narrowed for a moment. "Humph," she said. Then her eyes grew wide and she fell back a few steps from the bar. "Humph," she said again, then yelled outright, grabbing at her throat, eyes watering. Stasis and hold, Ferris thought. Well, it was a good run. But just as he prepared for the Vesk's vengeance to rain down upon him, the doors to the cantina flew open, and in marched 4 humanoid figures. From the look of them, 2 orcs, 2 humans, though all of them were dressed in plasticine combat armor and holding heavy assault rifles. Ferris's heart sank as he saw the 2 at the front, smiling in triumph as they saw him. Gods damn it all, he thought. The Syndic's Guild reputation for settling its debts, owing and owed, was well known, but he had never believed they would follow him this far. Yet here they were, the 2 thugs from back in the booth, months ago and hundreds of thousands of miles away, ready to clear the balance sheet. Oh, Benno's fault, he thought again dully, but could barely bring himself to care. He stepped out from behind the bar as the 2 thugs came up, rifles leveled at his torso. Thought you was clear of it, Ferris, eh? Grunted the lead one bottom fang sticking crookedly above his upper lip. Thought your luck had brought you through. Although, he added, looking around at the cantina, not sure this is what I'd call luck, exactly. I can't disagree there, Ferris said, barely registering the hurried departure of the drow miners and the drunk but now fully awake orc, all completely ignored by the Syndic's Guild heavies. This is all I've got now, and it ain't much. Given time, I'd have worked the payment out, hopped the ship back to the center of the Packed Worlds, and come right to us to pay up, I figure, the orc sneered. Not much. And even if you would have done something like that, it wouldn't have mattered then, Ferris. Syndicskill don't give people extensions. You missed your time, you was dead right then, even if it took us a while to track you down. Time's up now. But if it makes you feel better, we can do this outside so you don't mess up your, establishment." The other thugs chuckled. Ferris shook his head. "Not like it matters," he said and closed his eyes. "True enough," said the orc thug, and Ferris heard the sound of a laser chamber warming. "No," another voice suddenly said, and Ferris was confused for a moment before opening his eyes. Standing next to him, panting slightly, was the Vesk. The Syndic's Guild orc blinked. "No what?" "No," the Vesk replied. "You don't kill this one." The orc looked around at his companions, whose expressions ranged from annoyed to amused, before looking back at the Vesk. "Look," he said with a crooked smile, "this is Syndic's Guild business, and we're not in Veskarium. Now if you'll step aside, we'll—" "I said no," the Vesk repeated, her gaze boring into the orc. Ferris looked from one to the other, caught somewhere between fascination and terror. The orc grinned. "I didn't think I'd get two for the price of one today, lads," he said as Ferris heard the whining charge of the laser rifles. "Now we can waste a goddamn stuck-up lizard to boot." And the heavies shifted their rifles to face the Vesk. There was a moment's pause. Then something reddish-orange flashed in the room, and there was a scream of pain, but not the Vesk's, nor Ferris's. Ferris blinked as he saw the second orc lying dead on the ground, and the Vesk standing above him, a glowing red axe of light shimmering in her hands. The lead thug yelled and fired, blowing a hole right through the bar, but the Vesk was already gone, sliding smoothly to her side almost faster than Ferris could follow. Another red-orange flash, and one of the human thugs hit the ground with a thump, and even as the human next to him turned in that direction, his body jerked and went rigid, right before he slumped to the ground as the glowing axe was withdrawn from his back. Now the remaining Syndic's Guild orcs shouted and fired wildly, leaving holes and burn marks halfway across the wall of the cantina, but the Vesk ducked underneath the hail of fire and with a whip of her tail took out his legs. He fell heavily on his back, his rifle jarred loose from his hands, and as Ferris stared, the Vesk came back to a standing position, axe high for a moment before she drove it into the chest of the stricken orc. He twitched once, then fell still. The Vesk looked at the body below her for a moment. Then she tossed her axe in the air, and Ferris stared, open-mouthed, as it shrank quickly into a fist-sized ball of reddish-orange energy, which hovered by her left shoulder. "A Solarian," he thought in a shock. "That's a goddamned Vesk and a Solarian." The Vesk looked up at him. "That will probably bother Syndic's Guild," she said. "But a Coastburger like that is worth it." She took a step closer to him. "Ylenamaris Suneater," she said, bowing her head slightly before baring her teeth in what Ferris hoped to all the gods was a smile. "I like your food. Do you have more?" Ferris blinked, then nodded. Of course," he replied. "And, if you enjoy the food and you're looking for, some work, I might have a proposition for you." "Eat sand, Benno," he thought, and grinned. The end. So there you go. There you go, Ashera. There is the background for Ylenamaris Suneater. And I hope that's appropriate. I had to do a little research on this one because I do not play Starfinder myself. So I had to do a bit of research. But the majority of those planets and races and everything were in there. So that was kind of the majority of the stuff that I had. So yeah. I do want to point out, by the way, that Ashera had asked, she had made clear that this character really likes spicy food. So so I wanted to try to make something that actually reflected that. And so that was where I also happen to have a soft spot in my heart for Ferris Shulk, mostly just because, you know, the guy's, you know, the poor guy just trying to make a living. It needed more raisins. Yeah. Very cute. Thank you. So I will, so there you go, Ashera. And Ashera got that because she supported my Patreon. So I will be sending this to her. And I will send this to her via Patreon or something similar. And then we will have that to work with. So that will be coming. This is set in the Starfinder universe, which is the Pathfinder world. It's Pathfinder's it's Paizo. So Starfinder is basically set in the Pathfinder world, except I don't know, 1,000 years in the future or something like that, and out in space. So you are welcome. You are welcome. It was my pleasure, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that I was able to provide it. I had it done actually a while ago, and I was looking forward to actually reading it to you. But I just hadn't been able to. We hadn't been able to get to the time when you were actually here. So now I've had a chance to read it, to hear it, and I will, as I say, send it to you. So thank you, Shara, and thank you for the Patreon support as well. All right. So how are we doing on the? We almost done. Okay.
Just little
cool.
touch-ups right now.
Cool. So we will hang here for just a minute longer while Terry finishes up, and then next month you will see more of this. Now, a quick note about scheduling again. This Friday, again, I will have my show with my band, The Road. We'll be playing at the Delancey, which is on Delancey Street in Lower East Side of Manhattan. I'll be doing an acoustic set with my 2 guitarists. We'll be there for about 45 minutes or so. I'm going to try to stream it, but don't know for sure. If you definitely want to make sure to catch it, you can go see it live, because I can promise you that's going to happen. That'll be at the Delancey, as I said, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So if anyone is in the New York City area, would love to see any or all of you there. Then, no idea if I'm going to have a Friday night stream. I'm not sure. It depends on how the time works out. Then Saturday, we will be back with Esper Genesis as we continue, speaking of space, as we continue our journey through that amazing world and through the conclusion of Basilisk Rendezvous. And I will also have several announcements on that day, one about a new D&D thing that I want to talk about, and then the other will be announcing the lineup for the Curse of Strahd. So that's what's happening on Saturday. And then next week, we have got Adventures of Middle-earth, starring someone who does some artwork on the side, and that is, of course, Terry Tunes. And then we will have some others as well. Amal Matar, Trendane, and of course Will from Encounter Roleplay. Hello, my son. My son has come to join in the festivities. What do you think about that, huh? See, look. My son, who is going to be 2 years old tomorrow.
Ooh!
He turns 2 tomorrow. Can you believe that? Turns 2. There we go. Look. Yeah, you see that? There they are right there. Yep, hitting level 2. I am doing nominations next week. So nominations for the Chat Chosen Game of the Month are next week. Final votes the week after that, and I'll actually do the vote the week after that. So we've got that going on, and then we've got next Friday, so a week from this Friday, we will have, I will be actually at Origins, and I will be doing, I've put those streams as tentative because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be streaming one of the 2 days, but I don't know when. I'm not sure. And so we will see. I don't actually know when exactly that'll be happening, but it'll be either Friday or Saturday. Maybe both, I don't know, but we'll see how that happens. And then the week after that, we'll have more Esper Genesis. We'll have more Adventures of Middle-earth, of course. We will have also Infinity and Beyond doing a post-mortem about Rise of Tiamat and Horde of the Dragon Queen, the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. And then we'll be doing character creation for the Curse of Strahd. Ida? What do you think of that? Ido? Yeah, you see a dodo is like, that's there. And who's this? Do you recognize this? Who's this? Who's that? Is that Mama? Is that Mama? He's like, Mama, what? He like whips his hand around. Mommy's out there.
I think I'm done.
You think you're done?
Yes.
So
I'm done.
look at that. Isn't that amazing? Lone wolf and cub. Pretty much. Oh, Joe. And then this, do you recognize who this is? Sorry, Terry, give me 1 second before I'm...
No problem.
This is your sister when she was your age. Actually, younger than you even. Isn't that amazing? Can you believe that? Okay. So, I'm going to send you to your mom. Arido. This one? Cool, right? So, we have finished with the art. That's cool. I love the, he looks like, basically talking like a Saracen is what that looks like.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's like kind of what they went for apparently with the design. So I figured might as well add the beard.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I dig that. I showed him the picture of you, and then he was like, I was like, is that Mama? He's like lifts his head. He's like, Mama. Bye, baby. Bye, bye. Buy that kid a popsicle. Anyway, so yeah, I really like that though. That's cool, and I dig the horse as well. And of course, we rushed poor Terry at the end there because we're wrapping up the thing. But that's cool. So let's do what we usually do, which is just go through very quickly what we got.
Yes.
So we started out with.
Oh, we started out with this one.
Should I walk into the obvious trap or go around it? Which we clearly listened to when we went into the cellar. No, that was not an obvious trap. That was some hot garbage, is what that was. So we got that. Very, very cool. Dug that. And then this, which is probably my favorite drawing of the favorite drawing, actually, of the last couple weeks, just because I really like the shadows here. That's really neat with the cave work and everything. That's cool. Is it harder, by the way, to do that when you're working essentially in reverse, like having a, the shadowing is the entire dominates the back of the picture? Does that make a difference or not? I'm just curious. Like lighting,
really.
Basically.
No, like lighting. Like I know, like a lot of people are like always like, oh, how do you know where the shadows go? This thing is like, I just kind of know.
Okay.
So it's like a bunch of work to like put it in there, but it's like not like a lot of brain work. It's just like, a bit of more muscle work. Basically.
Gotcha. No, that's really cool. That's awesome. And then finally we had
This
the
guy.
bandit leader. The guy is just like, that's like 3 seconds before Lone Wolf's like, like with the arrow on the side. They will never defeat us without the Sombers. Whoa! Like just gets it. That's really cool. Yeah, awesome stuff today, Terry. This is good as always. So, chat, I hope you appreciate how awesome Terry is with this. And I was hoping that you could give us info about where we can find out stuff about you, other than, of course, Adventures of Middle Earth, but on your art side, like, Patreon, etc., etc.
Yeah, I do have Patreon, I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have Tumblr, I have DeviantArt, I have ToonsUp, I have a bunch of stuff. All under the same name, TariToons, same as my username here, so yeah, like, go pick whatever platform you prefer.
Mm-hmm.
It would be very, very nice if you could drop by my Patreon specifically.
Can we link it
I
up,
have like
Terry?
2 tiers.
Let's link
2
it up.
tiers there. Okay, wait. Where is the link? There is the link.
I already got it.
Oh, you got it too.
Way ahead of you. There you go. And?
But yeah, like I have 2 tiers there, like one for just $1 a month, which is just like, yeah, you get to see my, like if you just want to support me in general, you get to see WIPs, stuff like that when I work on something, and also get to do requests when I'm doing request runs, because those are exclusive. Like previously I used to do requests for everyone, but then I thought like, yeah, okay, I need to give my Patreon something. So yeah, that's where you can get that. And then I have an $8 tier for like where you can get high resolution artwork from me, like all the stuff for if you want to print it and put it on your wall or something.
That's what I do, because only the best. I want the high res. I am a patron, so I'm all about the high res.
So yes, that's where you can get that, because I do only post my other artworks at a maximum of like 900 pixels on the long side,
Mm-hmm.
So that's not big enough for like proper quality printing. So yes.
But like the thing I want to point out to everybody is that, if you think about it, we were joking before about Starbucks and all that stuff. Like, it really is true. If you think about it, it basically costs you, if you were lucky, 2 lattes, and you can get access to high-res versions of this kind of art for an entire month, Like, so it's not, it is actually a pretty good deal, in addition to the fact, and I actually am very pleased about this, that people understand a lot of it is just supporting the artist, which helps everybody. So I really want to encourage people. Supporting my Patreon is awesome, and I'm able to use that to help with funding that I actually am able to to reimburse Terry for her time here, but still, like, you know, at the level of what Terry's doing in terms of her artwork and everything else, it really is just kind of a gesture, you know, towards the kind of work that she's doing overall. So supporting her Patreon is well worth it, and I want to recommend that everybody do that, because a few bucks a month is not a big deal, but it definitely makes a big deal to her, especially when lots of people do it. So definitely please do that, guys, because that would definitely be helpful, and you will see many more wonderful things. What's up, Polar? You will see
Also,
many more wonderful things from her.
Just like as a quick point, like I don't post everything as a high res on my Patreon because I don't know if people actually care for all the stuff. Usually I just post a thing where I'm like, yeah, okay, people might want to have that one on high res, but you can always ask me to post other stuff there. So when you go like, hey, I also like that artwork, just like send me a message and I'll give you the high res on that one as well. Unless it's a commission, because those belong to the commissioner, not me.
Yes.
So I can't just give these out, obviously.
No, that's true. And I assume you are available for if they want to ask you for commissions too, right? Like they could contact you or not?
In theory, I do commissions, but I have been like with my arm injury lately that I've gotten like in November, and like a lot of other stuff that I have to work on. So like currently I'm not doing commissions, but I will let everybody know.
Got it. Cool.
Not busy anymore.
I understand. You're right. Yeah. That's actually, now that I think of it, yeah. Yes. Okay. Right. But nonetheless, you should definitely check out her work and all that kind of good stuff. So, Terry, I'm going to let you go so I can close up shop. But thank you so much as always. It was a great pleasure, and I will see you next week for AME for sure. Actually, I'll talk to you before then, but on stream, I'll see you in a week for AME.
Okay, good. Then thank you for the fun time. Bye.
That's good. Fun as always. Thanks, Terry. Let's get some love, chat. Thank you so much, Terry. Talk to you soon. All right. There we go. Okay, and with that, we're going to go back to the internal image, and we're going to head back up here and go back over to the intro scene. That was awesome, folks. I had a good time with this, as I always do. I really enjoyed doing these streams, not only because I like the game books and everything, but it's always fun to see what Terry is able to do and come up with, and I like the idea of this stuff sort of inspiring other kind of work from us, so I think that's really neat. So thank you, Terry Toons, so much, and thank you for being a part of this. As for you, thank you all for being here. I am going to be heading up now and get ready for my stream at 4 p.m., which is going to be Battletech. I'm going to be over on GOG doing Battletech as part of my story and narrative-based show Pen and Pixels, which I do every Tuesday over there. Next Tuesday, by the way, is going to be D&D with GOG, but today we've got Battletech coming up, and then, as I say, Friday, I'll have the show that my band is doing, and then I'll be back on my channel. I might stream Friday night again, I don't know, but definitely Saturday I will be back for Esper Genesis, which will be happening in the evening. But I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Ashera for supporting the Patreon. I will send you this, as I say, Ashera, I will send you this somehow, either through Discord or Patreon or something like that. I want to thank everyone for making this an awesome stream today. Thank you to Chaotix, to Dragonspear, to Kilobyte, of course to Terry Toons, my wonderful mods. And Terry, thank you again so much. Wonderful work today, as always. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to Chaotix. Thank you to Dragonspear, Kilobyte. Thank you to Terry Toons. Thank you to Luca Thea, to Nonstop, Stumpomatic, and to Uncle Elias. Also, thanks to Stumpomatic for boosting his support of the Patreon. For those of you who missed this, Patreon is down a little bit this month because we had one big supporter who had to step back for a month. He actually even asked me if it was okay. He said he's going to be back in a month, so that number will go back up again. But in the meantime, if you want to be able to support it in preparation for that, that would be much appreciated. So thank you all. That'll be helpful. I wore a red shirt and the lone wolf died 3 times. You're right. It's all my fault. Look at the, oh my God. But anyway, thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate that. Thank you to Ashera, as always. Thanks again, Ashera. Thank you to Beautiful Bear for the host. Thank you to Brahms. Thank you to Seabaoth. Thank you to Commander Root, Diginferno. Thank you to Dynasty. Thank you to ECAG, Electrical Skateboard, Galadriel Bot, by which I mean Dragon's Bot. Thank you to Jar1306. Thank you to Kerflop. Thank you to Kajeldio, to Questionable Results, to Polar. Always a pleasure, Polar. Thank you to Slow Cool, to TNS Mephiston. Thank you to Trendane. Welcome back, Trendane. Thank you to you, Christensen. Thank you to V and K. I'm not sure if I've seen you in here before, V and K. Hope you like what you saw and heard, and will support and follow the channel and support with the subs and the Patreons, as I mentioned, if you can. Thank you to Virgil Leads You. Thank you to Virgo Praz. I'm not sure if I've seen that name either, Virgo, so I hope you like what you saw and heard and will support us. I do remember Virgil from the other night. And thank you, of course, to West River Rat. Always a pleasure, everybody. You folks are the best. And now that is going to do it for me. I am going to head on out of here, and I will see all you wonderful folks at the top of the hour. No raid today, because at the top of the hour, I'm going to see all you folks about 22 minutes from now over at GOG for Pen and Pixels and more Battletech. Until then, thanks everybody. Love you all. Spread the word about the show. Spread the word about my gig on Friday too, if you have any New York City area friends. And I will see all of you on Friday. Until then, have a good one and be good to each other. Have a good day. Fresh and new, when it all seemed clear to you, when your aim was straight and true. Were your mind untroubled by the questions in the dark, content to play your part, open pathways to your heart? Were your life untainted by a host of broken dreams, when all your acts were queens, understood all that it means? Could you have understood the way your life was bound? Did you ever wonder how you got from there to now? Oh yes, you're gonna fly away from here, where the sky grows more clear, and your problems disappear, drift away down below. Watch them go down to your friends, where the trouble never ends, and there's always just one more day left to go. Now through your pile of broken lies and your set of fake goodbyes, another cynical disguise. When will they catch you? All those little things you said, will it turn around instead? Blame the voices in your head. With all your subtle language, try and turn your life around. If your center gets unwound, you do your best to slow things down. And if you feel things that you never felt before, shook you to your core, a shattered truth.